We're good. We're good.
Being good is good.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, human beings of Earth, internet, it is. Yes.
You're trying to do an intro. I think you're muted.
Only in Discord. Only in Discord I was muted. I was not muted on OBS.
Like, his lips are moving.
No, I was good everywhere else. Well, it's time. We are back after 3 long months. We're back.
Has it only been 3? I thought
About 3.
very beginning of April. April, May, June, July, August. Jesus.
Almost 4.
It's been longer than that.
Almost 4.
The last show we did was the weekend to MLB.
Ooh, so yeah.
So literally like early April.
Yeah, even longer than 3. We took a big break. Well, we got a lot to get to today, so I'm not gonna have a long intro. We're back for season 5. It's better than ever. It's gonna be a great fucking time. Football is back, which is why we're back. So with that being said, let's get into stupid people saying stupid things.
Yes.
Do you want to lead in with this one?
Sure. Why not? Mine's very brief.
This is mine.
So literally the only stupid people saying stupid things. I don't even remember what this post was about, to be honest. But, you know, scrolling through the comments, what day was this? 27th of August. So it's been a little bit now. And I'm just going to read you all of the comments here that I screenshotted on, again, this post that I don't even remember what it was about. So let's see here. Mommy Millie says, nah, he tweaking. Divya448, nah, he tweaking. Christian Hamilton, nah, he tweaking. Chris Urania, nah, he tweaking. Tyler Brown, nah, he tweaking. Masim0, nah, he tweaking. Macrick, nah, he tweaking. Thank God that only lasted a few days. Was that the dumbest trend ever?
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm so glad it's gone.
Whoever came up with that trend, they are a
loser.
Oh, yeah, you know. It was Lil Nas X, and it wasn't even intentional. Something to do with, like, he had beef with Tony Hawk because Tony Hawk made these skateboard decks, like, and painted them with paint that had his own blood in it. And I guess Lil Nas X did something very similar with the shoe, but he was criticized for it or something. So he literally created his own beef with Tony Hawk. And that was a response to Tony Hawk was, nah, he tweaking. And everybody took off with it. Had like hundreds of thousands of likes on Instagram or Twitter or wherever it started. And it was everywhere. And it was so dumb. By the way, in the intro, Hoss00312, thank you for the follow. New name. Following in the intro, man. What a legend.
I don't have... Oh, by the way, Jordan is still live from Ford Field. One more week, and they might have to kick him out.
Yeah, well, maybe I just renewed my cardboard cutout season tickets there. See me at Ford Field over there.
I respect it.
Not really.
Not really, he says.
Never had one to begin with.
Okay, so mine... I actually have 2 very brief ones. I'm going to start with the brief. I forgot about the second one from last night.
Hey,
So,
by the way, really quick, did we share anything on Discord? No?
nope.
I'm gonna take the silence as a no. Okay, well you're doing that. I'm gonna
Negative.
share it on Discord. I'm gonna share it on Discord.
It's been 4 months, everybody.
It's been a long time.
We will start with my first one. This one came from last night after Hunter Dickinson tweeted, "Okay, I'm gonna say it, we're beating Ohio State this year." An individual who is a Illinois basketball fan, which I did not know those existed until about November of last year, because they didn't before then.
They're not gonna know. They're not going to exist once Illinois basketball falls back into obscurity.
And about November of this year.
Yep.
This individual, his Twitter handle is Dr. Hoodie Mad Dog. Just tweeted the score of the Illinois-Michigan basketball game from March 2nd of 2021. Illinois did win that game 76-53. Illinois then lost to Loyola a lot to a little in the second round of the NCAA tournament. I'm not going to say anything because Ohio State lost to Oral Bob.
The legend of Oral Bob.
we're not gonna go anywhere there. But Dr. Hoodie Mad Dog,
Loser.
he is a loser. Now, moving on to my second and final stupid person saying stupid thing. Comes from a man on Facebook. I will not share his name as that is the policy with most coming from Facebook. This was a CBS Sports post about Bishop Sycamore. For those of you who have not heard about Bishop Sycamore, you will in this show at some point today. Because they are...
Loser.
There's no S on the end of that one. So, this individual said... Ha ha ha, this is just another embarrassment to Ohio football. An SEC school beating Ohio school.
Right.
IMG Academy is a high school that does, yes, happen to be from my hometown of Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah, they're not from the SEC.
They are not from the SEC, though, because they are a high school.
It's funny how that works.
Huh. This individual, who again, he will not, we're just gonna call him, Colin, because that's whose face I'm looking at right now, is a
Loser.
How much did you miss that button?
Oh, I missed it so much. I love it. I love it.
Man, oh man. All right, is that all you have for stupid
Yes.
people saying stupid
I'm
things?
sure next week, after week 1 of college football, we will have a lot more stupid people saying stupid things because of all the hot takes. But for this week, that's all we got. Let's move on to the news.
Or as we're going to call it, the news and some other stuff that happened during the break. It's not much of it is recent news.
No. Do you want to take this first one?
Oh man, this is so strange to me because who would have ever thought that either of these two things that we're going to talk about here would have happened? It's completely out of left field, and it all happened so fast once it actually started moving. Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona and going to Paris Saint-Germain, of all places.
Of all places.
Man, I was hoping, long outside chance that he would go to Chelsea, even though that was never going to happen. And I can't remember if that was before or after we got Lukaku. So once Lukaku showed up, it was kind of like, okay, all right, we're fine. But wow, like out of nowhere, and that's only the first crazy thing that happened. Would you like to talk about the other one since it involves you a little bit more involved?
I will take these next two because they, well,
oh yes.
One is a source of pride for me, being from Florida. The other, just brings a smile to my face, kind of. Just a little. Cristiano Ronaldo, the second best player in the world, behind the aforementioned Lionel Messi, was transferred by Juventus after 2 seasons?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
2 seasons. Ronaldo got transferred to Manchester United, where he started out his career. He is back home in England. And, well, this unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like, I was, even when I was making the graphic for today and just putting up Messi in a PSG shirt and Ronaldo in a Manchester United shirt, I was like, this is weird. It was weird enough when
Ronaldo left Real.
Yeah, and he went to friggin' Juventus of all places. And it's just, now that they're both in just weird places, I guess Ronaldo's a little less weird and actually pretty cool. But, like, just the fact that they both aren't at, like, the two best players in the entire world aren't in the same, with the same team as they were at the start of this year is just wild.
Just baffling.
It happened in, like, a month's time.
Yeah. All at the tail end of August. End of August. And the next piece, one that is brings a bit more happiness to my heart. The Tampa Bay Lightning won the 2021 Stanley Cup and are still defending champions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got robbed of a great series of them playing Vegas. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat, of all teams, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of the Cup Finals because for one, I just had a feeling that Tampa Bay was going to make quick work of them.
And they did, 4-1. 4-1.
And two, who really wanted to see, outside of Habs fans, who wanted to see the Montreal Canadiens in the Stanley Cup Final? The answer is nobody. They shouldn't have been there. They had a great playoff run, but they were not a finals team. Not a finals caliber team, so.
What was it? The Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens, the most unwatchable playoff series of all time.
Yeah, that may have been it.
Unless you're a fan of those two teams.
Right. I was more excited for Winnipeg to be in it. Like, nobody likes the Habs, man. Except Habs fans.
The
cocky bastards.
The highlight of the 2021 Stanley Cup playoffs was the Vegas Colorado series, which Vegas won, and then in the Western Conference Finals, Montreal beat Vegas, robbing us of what very well could have been, very much would have been a series to go down in history, I think, if it was Tampa and Vegas.
Now, I don't remember who you picked when we did our NHL preview.
Not Tampa.
At the very tail end of last year. I remember that I picked the Colorado Avalanche to be the Stanley Cup champions, and that didn't go so well.
I believe I picked the Boston Bruins of all teams, a team that I despise.
It was either you or Jeff that picked Boston, yeah.
Whoever picked Boston, they were wrong.
I think we were all wrong. I don't think anybody picked Tampa.
Yeah, I know I didn't.
I'm fairly certain I had the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Cup Finals.
Oops.
Jeff's like, what? What
are you doing?
We're not making it out of the first round.
And they didn't.
No. Well, I mean, he's a Leafs fan. He knows.
You want to take this next one that literally only 6 people in the world care about?
Oh, man. So I actually was really excited to see the NBA Finals, since we're just kind of recapping what's been going on while we were off of Twitch here.
Off air.
I was very excited to see an NBA Finals that wasn't exactly who we expected. Like, it wasn't Lakers versus Nets like everyone talked about all year long, with the Phoenix Suns of all teams, and they lose, in 6 games, I believe, to the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo is an NBA champion, MVP already. Oh, boy.
Good for him. That's all I got. But as for everything else, blah, 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 blah. Who cares?
Yeah, I wish I liked it more. I would have loved it if Chris Paul would have got a ring. And the Phoenix Suns would have won the championship. But with Giannis, it's still young. Like, there's not that whole story. It's great for him and everything. But I mean, this might be the Bucks' only chance. I don't know. The Nets are probably getting pretty good, even though they made a bizarre trade today. Can we talk about that for a second? Did you see that?
I did not. So go ahead, take this away.
So the only reason that it's strange is because it involves the Detroit Pistons. So,
oh jeez.
The Nets traded DeAndre Jordan to the Pistons, along with 4 second-round picks, and I think cash considerations. They're back.
Loser.
Fucking, I don't know. Sekou Doumbouya and somebody else. And then the entire plan, it was just the Pistons just acquiring draft picks, because immediately they bought out DeAndre Jordan, and he is now expected to sign with the Lakers. So they literally just bought
draft
4
picks,
second-round picks. It's the wildest thing. It's very similar to what we did with Trevor Ariza. Like, we acquired Trevor Ariza last year, and he never played a game for us.
Oh my!
very strange. That Lakers team just continues to get older and older now. But I got the notification that says, "Oh, Nets trade DeAndre Jordan." I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's cool, I guess." And then I saw it later. It says, Pistons are expected to buy out DeAndre Jordan. I'm like, "Wait, we traded for DeAndre Jordan?"
Of everybody.
What's going on here?
Of
Yeah, I did not
everybody.
expect it. And there's people that are hating on it, but it's just like, I mean, it's not like we were gonna sign anybody with that money anyway. So there's literally nothing to worry about just
Right.
buying draft picks. Essentially, I was like, I'm okay with it, even though they're seconds. I wish one was a first, but I don't think the Nets have any first round picks.
I will take this next one.
Yes.
Shohei Ohtani is making me eat my own words. I believe
I was gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
a few years ago, I said he would not be good at baseball. Shohei Ohtani is very good at this game, more commonly known as baseball. He may not be Mike Trout.
I don't know if you said that he wasn't going to be good, but everyone, when he first got over here, was like, "Oh, he's Babe Ruth. He's like the greatest thing we've seen since Babe Ruth," and you were like, "Well, there's no way." And then he's doing what he's doing in 2021.
Yeah. He even stole home a couple nights ago.
I mean, this guy. I mean,
He's
if
good.
He doesn't win, I'm not usually in favor of like the MVP of the league being on a team that's just ass. But how do you not just give it to Shohei Ohtani? Like, I think he's still leading the league at home runs.
I believe
He's
so.
got an incredible ERA. Like the dude's incredible.
He's just good. He's good. That's all. Wasn't he MVP of the All-Star game, if I remember correctly?
No, that was Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, because Ohtani was only around for what, like an inning?
Yeah,
No,
actually,
he pitched. He pitched for an inning. He stayed in the game a little bit longer.
yeah,
but,
you're right.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he homered, but Vladdy Jr. did.
You go ahead and take this next one because it's vroom vroom turn left.
Yeah, you're not the biggest NASCAR guy, but I figured I'd throw this in here just since we bring it up on the show every now and then. So the NASCAR playoff field finally set. I think 14 of the 16 drivers that got in, or no, I missed something like 13. Won a race to make it into the playoffs. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Tyler Reddick made it in without winning, but Kyle Larson beats out Denny Hamlin to become your regular season champion. Yay!
Wait, that's a thing? That's a thing?
Yes. So NASCAR now has 2 point systems. They have the playoff points and the normal points. So the normal points are what is determined to be the regular season champion and everything. But that's meaningless when it comes to determining your actual champion. They actually gave Kyle Larson a trophy for being the regular season champion. And this thing is so unbelievably massive. It's almost the same size as the actual trophy. It's just the most ridiculous looking thing. But Kyle Larson with an incredible summer. Won 5 races so far this season. The most, I think by far. I think Martin Truex Jr. has 3. There's a whole slew of people that have 1. And he had a great summer. I think he won like 3 races in a row at one point. Denny Hamlin was leading the regular season points up until like almost the very end of the regular season, whatever that is. And even though Denny didn't win a race, he was just always up there, always consistent. But Kyle Larson takes home the most meaningless trophy in all of NASCAR. As if the regular trophy at the end of the season wasn't already like half meaningless because the playoff system's garbage.
Right. I will take at least this next one because
Oh my god! What? How dumb.
the F1 race
Dumb.
this past week at it was the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah.
It happened behind a safety car for 2 laps.
Now, it was 3.
Oh, it was 3? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. It happened behind a safety car for 3 laps. And then the race was called. The race was called.
It was red flagged for hours.
For like 3 hours. And then called because of rain. They ended up giving half points to the podium. No fastest lap because Nikita Mazepin had fastest lap behind the safety car.
You know what? I don't blame him. I don't know how he acquired the fastest lap, but if you're like the last place car, like literally like drop back or come down the pit lane or something and give yourself a little bit of space and then just take a flyer and just see if they would have counted it. If you're in last anyway, what's the point?
Just to screw somebody else up even. Fuck it. Oh my god.
Oh,
Nikita Mazepin got fastest lap, so nobody got the fastest lap point.
That'll be the only time in his career that he gets the fastest lap.
Most likely.
And it didn't even count.
It's probably going to be the only time in Haas's history of ever that they'll get a fastest lap.
Oh god, they're the new Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
0 points. 0 points on the entire year. And also, one positive thing, if there is any, to come out of Spa and the disaster that was the Belgian Grand Prix, is George Russell got a podium. He finished second.
He finished second because he started second. He did qualify second at Spa. I was just about to get to the podium because they had a full podium ceremony, full of post-race interviews and everything.
God.
Your podium after 3 laps, all behind a safety car, were Max Verstappen, who started first, George Russell, who started second, and Lewis Hamilton, who started third. Danny Ricciardo started fourth, finished fourth, obviously, because, again, there's no passing under a safety car.
Oh, man.
Sebastian...
Depends on where you're at.
Yeah, and Sebastian
Vettel.
Vettel...
Any of the F1 games and see how that goes.
Right. Sebastian Vettel finished fifth, or, well, placed fifth there.
Started, finished, existed
in fifth. So yeah, that was Spa, which it's disappointing because Spa's usually one of my favorite races on the F1 calendar. Yeah. And it was
it just is the latest disaster for F1. I mean,
and the FIA.
Obviously us being Americans, we remember the United States Grand Prix at Indianapolis where like 4 cars took the green flag because of some tire controversy. Oh yeah.
Do you want to take?
Bad times.
Yeah. Do you want to take the last one, or you want me to?
We can both chime in on it, but I'll bring it up here, and that is we're sticking with F1, and that is I believe the 21-time race winner, F1 World Champion Kimi Räikkönen, going to retire at the end of this 2021 season. I mean. Legend of the sport for sure. We're definitely gonna miss him being around and some of the funny sound bites he's produced over the years.
Yeah, just the funny things in general. The Iceman is retiring after this year. I guess, I mean, when he got dropped down to Alfa Romeo, the writing was on the wall that he wasn't gonna be around much longer.
Yeah,
but. Kind of.
I'm sure there was probably, some people thinking he was going to retire before he even did that because, why even do that? Why move down to a team that you're not going to have a chance of winning? But I think Kimi just likes racing. Like you see, he races all over the things. He raced a couple truck races in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Like, dude's done everything.
And I do also want to mention the last race that Raikkonen won was, I believe, the last U.S. Grand Prix.
Yeah,
was in 2019, which was in 2019.
Yeah, it was that, and also that really good chance he had at winning at Monza for Ferrari. That was really cool as well. But yeah, final F1 victory appears to be the United States Grand Prix from a couple years ago.
Yep, and that does it for the news for today. We can get into the.
I could have easily put some of the F1 fans that I saw like defending the FIA this last weekend and stupid people saying stupid things. But I
No.
forgot about them.
I mean, I
But
could have
they
too,
were-
but there was no way to yes,
my-
but
Well, they gotta move to the next town. They can't postpone the race till Monday. NASCAR does it all the time, and they only have a 3-hour travel to go. Like Zandvoort's not that far away.
no. Alrighty. Let's move on to the college football preview, because college football is finally back. It was officially back last week, but it is finally
And
back.
now it's really back. It's like actual week 1.
Oops, that's the button I didn't want to hit. Okay. You want to lead us off? We are not going to do in just the desire to not be here for the next 17 hours. We're not going to do a full top 25 preview like we were thinking. But so we're just going to stick with the Big Ten.
But we will. We'll do the Big Ten, and then we will do a way too early college football playoff prediction,
Ugh.
predicting the 4 teams we'll see in there. So yeah, we'll start off with the Big Ten, and I've decided to start off with Nebraska. So
Nebraska, who's already 0-1.
they lost to Illinois, I do believe. Nebraska has been a dumpster fire under
Since-
Scott Frost's tenure.
I mean, they were a dumpster fire
even-
before then.
Even before then, when Bo Pelini was still there, they were a disaster. But now they're really a disaster. But that being said, if they can run the ball, which is a very, very interesting proposition, it's definitely not a guarantee. But if they can, and if Adrian Martinez can actually be the superstar that he was recruited in to be Scott Frost's guy, then they'll be okay. But it's not looking too promising through 1 week, losing to Illinois, who we're going to get to next.
All I'm gonna say on Nebraska is it's the Nebraska Corn, man.
Yep.
Over under.
Them Corn Huskers.
Will they be the worst team in the Big Ten?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
So when we get to them, we'll get to them. But I don't think that it's going to be Nebraska. They're not gonna be good. They're
No.
definitely not gonna be good if you're out here losing to Illinois in week 1.
I don't think Nebraska's
will
gonna be
not
bowl
be-
eligible.
No. Which is the over under? It's at 6 wins. Do you think they get 6 wins?
No, under.
Clearly, you just said no. I am also taking the under on Nebraska. I don't know what their non-conference looks like. They might be able to win those 3. I don't see them winning another Big Ten game unless somebody implodes.
They, I believe, have like Furman or some fucking random ass school to Fordham.
Oh God!
They have Fordham tomorrow. Good bounce back game. Nebraska is a 43.5 point favorite.
What must it take?
How bad is Fordham?
I don't know. I don't know if I put that one in the picks or not. I don't believe I did.
I don't know. We'll find out in a little bit. So, do you have anything else to touch on Nebraska?
They're gonna be bad, but they're not gonna be the worst. That's it.
Okay, moving on through the Big Ten West. We now have the other dumpster fire of the Big Ten West, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Lovie Smith and his glorious, fantastic beard is gone, and now they have fucking Brett Bielema. The disappointment to end all disappointments of Big Ten in the Big Ten.
Outside of maybe like a 1 year, 2 years at Wisconsin where they were okay.
Yeah, he's Brett Bielema. He got fired on the field when he was at Arkansas. Literally was in the middle of coaching the game, and they just fired him.
I mean, can you blame them?
No. It's probably gonna
I don't
happen.
know
It's probably gonna happen
why
in
they
Illinois.
Bringing in Brett Bielema to one of the worst schools in the SEC when he was at a middle of the pack school in the Big Ten and couldn't do anything. I don't know why they thought bringing him into Arkansas was going to be
This is gonna be
a good
helpful.
idea. I mean, it's Arkansas. They don't make good decisions.
Former Michigan quarterback, if I remember correctly, Brandon Peters.
Yes, who somehow still has eligibility.
Still.
I feel like he should have been out of here. Like he transferred from Michigan 2 years ago or something like that, and then he's been at Indiana or Illinois rather for like 2 years. I feel like he's been here forever.
Has receivers, but according to the notes that I have here, it's quite possible those receivers are ass.
Yeah, they're not great.
So
they have one returning starter at receiver and a walk on. And a former walk on. So
Ooh. So it is quite possible Brandon Peters would rather throw to traffic cones than the receivers on his teams.
And we're not talking about Jardale Cones.
No, not Jardale Cones. We're talking orange cones. Brandon Peters would rather throw to a orange safety cone.
I mean, have you seen some of the safety cones in NASCAR? They're pretty talented.
Yeah, that is true.
Got some great moves.
That is true. So, Illinois, how are they going to do this year? The over-under on wins is 3.5, by the way, meaning they only need 3 more to hit the over. But continue.
I'm going to say over simply because it's a 3.5. If it was at 4 or 4.5, I don't know, or over 4. But if you're gonna give me the 3.5, I'm gonna say Illinois gets 4 wins.
I am looking at Illinois' schedule. They play UTSA tomorrow. They're only a 5-point favorite against UTSA, but I think they're going to win that game. So that right there is 2 wins. I'm going to take the over at 4. Because 3.5 is.
I don't think they're going to get much more than 4. But...
No, because then they have to play Charlotte, in beginning of October.
Should be 3.
And then, they have to play Rutgers.
Could very well be 4 right there.
Yeah.
And then they don't win a game the rest of the season.
Yeah. Worst team in the Big Ten, yes or no?
Nope. It's not Illinois.
Okay. You want to take Purdue? Because you take Purdue because the team after Purdue, I have some things.
Yes, Purdue, my grandpa's alma mater. Number 1 passing offense in the conference last year.
Yes. Hard to believe, but yes.
I know. Yeah, it's wild. It just goes to show you how crap the Big Ten was last year. But yeah, very good in the passing game. The problem is, and I get that they didn't play like a full schedule last year, they ran the ball 150 times. That's not a lot, no matter how many games you play. And good Lord, if they can't get any sort of running back production, then that passing offense is just it ain't gonna be as efficient as it was last year. So I don't know if they can get a little bit of a run game going. I don't think the defense is all that spectacular. I didn't even mention them in the notes, but I can't see them being all that well defensively. But the offense could very well be good enough to score some points, keep them in most games, if they can get a running game going. The over-under on wins for them for the season is 5. Thoughts on 5?
First off, I'm going to say with their passing, they don't have Rondale Moore anymore, I believe.
I don't believe they do, no.
So I think that's going to hurt them. I'm looking at their schedule right now. 5. They play Oregon State tomorrow.
Rip.
I don't think they're going to beat Oregon State, even though they're favored.
Yeah, I don't think it's it's not a big favorite, I don't.
Touchdown favorite.
Yeah. Oh, wow. More than I thought.
They play UConn. I think that could be a win. Illinois, I think, will be a win. Other than that,
not looking good, eh?
like Nebraska, they'll beat Nebraska, so there's 2.
We're still a ways away.
Maybe Michigan State. I don't know.
I would say they beat MSU.
Maybe Northwestern. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm going to take the under, and probably I would say if... Yeah, I'm going to have to take the under here. I'm going to have to say 4.
I'm gonna take the under as well, and that's just I'm this is one that I might have to eat my words on a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I just don't know about them, so I'm gonna go with the under. 5 wins when you're looking at you just ran through the schedule and we're looking at 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And unless they get lucky somewhere down the road and get 5, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So
Minnesota.
I'll go with the under on the 5 wins for Purdue.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers. Well, I am going to give a slight recap of their game yesterday against Ohio State. The boat got sank.
Well, I don't know if it got sank. It got beat up pretty good. But I think she might weather the storm a little bit.
With Mo Ibram out, which we will talk about in a second. This very well could be even worse. Tanner Morgan was the 4th most efficient quarterback in 2019. And was that in the country or just in the Big Ten?
That was in the country.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He was ahead of guys like Justin Fields.
Yep. He regressed last year, and then yesterday against Ohio State was abysmal until about 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
That's soft zone.
Through
Take advantage of it.
Through 3.5 quarters, Tanner Morgan was 5 for 17.
We haven't said this in a little bit. Is that bad?
It's not good. Through 3.5 quarters, 5 for 17 for 40 yards, I think. He did have 1 touchdown, but 5 for 17 for 40 yards. He ended, I believe, 14 for 25 with 205. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that was in like the final 6 minutes.
Was in the final 6 minutes post Mo Ibram injury. The Golden Gophers return 11 starters on defense, and they weren't great last night defensively. They were good in the first half. They were, as the story went last year for teams who played against Ohio State, they were good in the first half. Then
it's like team historically against Ohio State. They'll let you hang around for a half sometimes, and then the second half rolls around.
Then you lose by 14.
Or more.
Yeah, then you lose by 14 or more. Ohio State did not quite cover the spread because the spread was 14.5. But yeah, or no, Ohio State did win by 14. Here is where the issue and my biggest thing lies. Mohamed Ibrahim played 3 full quarters.
He did.
Well, not quite 3 full quarters. He got hurt on the second to last play of the 3rd quarter. From what, and I don't know if they've actually announced what it is, has been announced what has happened.
No, I just know that he did leave the field after the trip to the medical tent with the walking boot on. So
I've seen some rumors saying it was a torn or ruptured Achilles.
Eek.
Which, if that's the case, that's it. That's it for the season. After Mo Ibrahim left the game last night, Minnesota was mostly dead in the water.
Whew. Yeah, watching that game and hoping for the upset, as most Michigan fans would. As soon as he got hurt, it's like, oh man, it ain't happening today.
I mean,
not a chance.
Minnesota was kind of dead in the water after the fumble return for a touchdown by Ohio State's defense.
Yeah, I don't think that 3rd quarter could have gone much worse for Minnesota. I mean, I guess Ohio State could have scored more points than they did. But
That yes, like they did to Clemson last year. About the only way it could have gotten worse for Minnesota is if Tanner Morgan also got hurt.
oh god.
Which he did end up taking some shots towards the end of the game.
Yeah, because they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah. A lot of players took some shots at the end of the game on Minnesota's point.
All on it.
So now the over/under for Minnesota on wins is 7. I'm looking at this. They're gonna beat Miami of Ohio even if they don't have Mo Ibrahim next week. Colorado in 2 weeks.
Colorado plays tough, so that's
They'll beat Bowling Green. So there's
sure to God hope so.
There's 2. They will beat Minnesota. They'll beat Nebraska. They'll probably beat Northwest or Minnesota or Maryland.
Okay.
If they will probably beat Northwestern. They will beat Illinois. Guaranteed beat Illinois. So right there, that's a push at 7. As for Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin, so I'm gonna go off. I just closed the thing I didn't want to close. I am gonna go off script here, and I'm gonna say a push at 7 exactly.
Push. Wow. Interesting.
I'm gonna say push at 7 exactly.
That might be like something you want to throw like $5 on.
Right.
Because I don't know. Okay. So before
I want to
Ibrahim
actually
gets hurt.
I would before Ibrahim got hurt, I would say over. Yes.
But after that, and you can see it last night, they were just 2 totally different teams. And I don't know if it was just the lack of confidence, like, hey, our best player just went down. I don't know if it was that or what it was. Just the lack of production. Maybe they lost their confidence or something. But they were just not even close to the same team. I'm going to go with the under on Minnesota and 7 wins on the year. Although, I hope I'm wrong. I like PJ Fleck. I hope he sticks around. Been doing a decent job with Minnesota. He just keeps getting these awful breaks and everything. So, I will say under. Hopefully that doesn't get PJ Fleck fired. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna say dead push.
Yeah. And I mean that defense is a problem. Like, they were solid for half a game yesterday, but you bring back everybody. That's usually a good thing. But when you don't have like a star on defense and you don't have a real difference maker, is it really all that good?
Yeah. I will also say
when Michigan lost Rashawn Gary, I was just like, okay, go to the NFL,
Shoot.
It didn't make a difference. Like, get out of here.
I will also say the biggest there were 2 really big turning points last night in the game, in Minnesota's game against Ohio State. The strip sack that Zach Harrison caused, the fumble was picked up by Haskell Garrett, who, I'm just going to throw this out here, and I know I did it on last year's podcast. Defensive lineman Haskell Garrett for Ohio State was shot in the mouth last year. Just literally shot in the mouth in Columbus last year. The fact
doesn't sound like a very, very pleasant time.
Before the season started, he required mouth surgery. Mouth and jaw surgery. The fact that he is
not ever want mouth surgery.
The fact that he is able to play football is still nothing short of a minor miracle. But I digress. That strip sack that ended up going Ohio State's way, that was returned for a fumble, or was returned for a touchdown, I mean. And then I believe it was the ensuing drive. Minnesota had something going a little bit, and then there was a holding call. So it went from 2nd and 2 to 2nd and 14 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then the next play, It went from then there was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, something made it.
I was thinking that this was the exact moment that you were talking about it. It ended up being like 3rd and 30.
Yeah, 3rd and 35, and after that, everything just kind of went downhill for Minnesota. They kind of lost it, just some stupid mistakes.
Draw play on 3rd down. Like, we're just getting off the field. Let our defense try and do something. And then I'm fairly certain Ohio State scored in like 5 plays.
Yeah. Yep. So I think I'm gonna go dead push, as I've already said. It's gonna be interesting with Minnesota just because they need to stay out of their way, and whether or not they have Mo Ibrahim. Moving on, do you want to take Iowa for us?
Oh man, me and Iowa have a tumultuous relationship. But
I think everybody in the Big Ten has a tumultuous relationship with Iowa.
Them damn
fucking hate
Hawkeye
fucking
bastards.
hate them.
They just win games they're not supposed to against everybody. It sucks.
Yeah.
So, last year, the Iowa offense was very, very interesting. They were so inconsistent. They couldn't get to the red zone hardly at all. But when they did, they scored almost every single time. They had an incredible red zone percentage last year, even though they had a terrible time just getting there.
I'll say, didn't they have like a 95% red zone percentage or something like that?
Something crazy like
that.
Like
obscurely high.
Incredible. Yeah, like I said, when they got there, it was pretty much automatic, but problem was getting there.
Yeah.
If they can improve on that, and quarterback Spencer Petras. Now, this is a stat that goes for all quarterbacks that played for Iowa last year, and I don't remember how much of this was Petras, but if they can throw for higher than a 57% completion percentage, they should be better. Kirk Ferentz always has a great defense there with the Hawkeyes. That'll be enough to keep him in some games. If the offense can pick it up, then I think they're going to be in some decent shape. So we'll see. We'll see about Iowa.
The over-under, and you did not mention this, is at 8.5 wins. I am looking at the schedule. Kirk Ferentz's defenses are solid. They just always are. 8.5 is a lot to me. Jordan is muted. So I'm going to keep this going. 8.5.
Yeah, I was muted. I had to grab a phone charger.
8.5 is a lot to me. They play Indiana tomorrow. They are a favorite. They play Iowa State, who Iowa State, as of right now, looks like they will be a good team.
Mm-hmm.
They play Kent State, Colorado State, Maryland, which Kent State, Colorado State, Maryland, guaranteed wins. I'm just gonna book it.
Book it now.
Against Penn State, Stoffel Van Dorn.
We'll get to Penn State and how I feel about them.
Yeah. Iowa should beat Penn State. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think so.
So
That's
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's the game that Iowa wins, man.
Yep.
Like, for whatever reason, Penn State is like 19th ranked in the country right now. They're predicted to have a good season.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a minute. But those are the games that Iowa wins. When they're the underdog, most likely, I don't know if that game's played.
It's a home
Iowa
game for Iowa. It's in Iowa.
I know you can't bet on that one right now, but book that one now. Like, Iowa's winning that game.
In Kinnick Stadium at Iowa. Yeah, Iowa's going to win that game. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 because they're going to beat Purdue. 6 because they'll probably beat Northwestern. 7 because they'll beat Illinois. 8 because they'll beat Nebraska. So the over-under is 8.5. I'm going to go with the under at 8.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't think this team's good enough to get to 9.
I'm going to go a bit crazy here and say they hit the over because, like I said, man, Iowa wins games or not, they have no business winning. They'll probably beat Penn State. They'll probably have another surprise win somewhere throughout the year.
Possibly tomorrow against Indiana, because they play.
There you go.
They play Indiana at home tomorrow. We'll talk about Indiana in a little bit, but
yeah, I'm gonna go with the over 8.5, over 8.5 on Iowa's wins for the 2021 season. From me,
I'm gonna say the under 8. Northwestern. I will take this one. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Northwestern is currently losing 21-7 to Michigan State on a game that why that game is being played at prime time, I don't know.
Especially past prime time. That game started at 9.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
Why is that game? Why is that a night game? That game should be.
Is that a home game for Northwestern?
Yep.
Okay, so that at least makes sense. No, it doesn't. Are
It'd
they in
be.
a different time zone than us?
Yeah, it'd be 8:00 for them.
Okay, so yes.
Yeah, they are.
Regardless, so I guess it is then a primetime game. Yeah, it makes no sense. I don't know who wants to see that.
That game should.
Is there a MAC game that we could put on there? Give me some action in my life.
I want some action. Yeah. Michigan State Northwestern, a game that.
I want 64-73. I want some action.
A game that should have been played at 10 a.m. and shown on ESPN 9.
Oh no! Not even the Ocho.
Not even the Ocho, because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see Michigan State Northwestern. However,
to be fair, I almost turned that game on. I almost did because I know both of those teams are just gonna be trash. So I was just thinking like, hey, let's go. But SmackDown was more important. So.
Northwestern has questions, and you could tell because they're losing 21-7 to Michigan State, who we'll talk about them. They had even more questions after last year.
How much time is left in that game, by the way?
7:13 in the third quarter. Michigan State is second in goal on Northwestern's 5.
Oh, fuck. I was going to say Northwestern can come back.
Anyhow, Clemson transfer Hunter Johnson takes over at quarterback. They lost their number 1 running back, Cam Porter, to leg injury, and running backs 2 and 3 transferred. Oops.
Or in the process.
Or are transferring.
They're still with the program right now, but they're not out on the active roster.
Yeah. So they have Bowling Green transfer Andrew Clare at running back.
Yeah, whenever you enter the season week 1 and you had 3 guys ahead of the guy that you're going to wind up starting, that running game is going to be trash. And that's rough for Northwestern.
Because that's what they do. Northwestern is a ball control team. Pat Fitzgerald, their defenses he usually has solid defenses. But they only have 5 returning starters, and right now, just off of what we've seen, it looks like it could be questionable. Those defenses could be questionable. The over-under is at 6.5. I hope, because I like Pat Fitzgerald. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. Very likable guy, and I think if he wasn't so dedicated to being at Northwestern, he could be a coach somewhere else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The over/under is 6.5. I'm just taking the over. 100% taking the over.
You're gonna take the over on Northwestern, huh?
Here's their schedule. Indiana State next week, on the 11th. Duke, Ohio, Nebraska, Rutgers, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois. They're gonna beat Indiana State. They're gonna beat Duke. They're gonna beat Ohio. They're gonna beat Nebraska. They're gonna beat Rutgers. They're gonna beat Purdue and Illinois.
All right.
All
right, you have me convinced.
If the over was at 7 or higher, I would not take the over. Or, well, let me phrase it. If the over-under was 7 or higher, I would not take it. But being set low-ish at 6.5, I'm gonna take. I'll take the over.
All right. Yep. I think I'm with because Northwestern's it's so confusing to me. I don't know what to expect from them, but I trust in Pat Fitzgerald, man. I think he's a great coach, and I just find it hard to believe that they're going to be awful. So I think they do get. I think they get over 6.5, become bowl eligible. They're not going to be. They're probably going to top out at 7 wins.
Yep.
At the very most. I might be wrong. They might be lower than that, but I think they'll get there.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have.
You never expect Northwestern to be good, but then they're good.
Yeah.
It's just what they do.
2019 they were good, or no, 2018 they were good. They played Ohio State and then they in the Big Ten championship lost. 2019 they won 1 game.
Yeah, they're such a confusing team.
2020 they were good, made it to the Big Ten championship, lost to Ohio State.
Right. They just need to play somebody else other than Ohio State. They just need to not face the buzzsaw, and they might have a shot.
Moving on, you want to take Wisconsin?
Well, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
So,
That's how I feel about Wisconsin. Is
that Wisconsin offense was not good last year, but you really can't blame him. Jonathan Taylor goes to the NFL. That dude was a bowling ball for like 3 years for that team.
Yes,
and
he was.
Was really the center point in their offense. But now they have a new center point in the offense. Graham Mertz might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. I'm thinking that he might just be.
I would, yeah.
You know, he had an interesting year last year. He got COVID for a little bit. And then we came back. All his receivers were dead. So
still beat Michigan.
Still beat Michigan. Well, we were putrid. So
that is true.
No surprise. But yeah, no. If the O-line can do well, Graham Mertz is going to ball out like he does. And they do have a young running back, Jalen Berger, who they went to a little bit last year, if I remember correctly. But if the O-line's solid, get the running game going, Graham Mertz does what he does. Whew, I mean, Wisconsin could just very well roll to another Big Ten championship game up there in the West.
I agree. And that defense is still good. That defense, on paper, still should be good.
Yeah. Like I put in the notes, like they weren't good last year, but I don't think that's the standard. I don't think that it's just because they're bad. I don't know what it was, but I just don't have a feeling that defense can be as just meh as they were.
Yeah.
So that offense gets clicking, that defense steps it up. Wisconsin could be very good.
The over-under is set at 9.5. I'm taking the over. Like, I'm not even looking at this. I have the schedule up. They play Penn State tomorrow. They're going to win. They play Eastern Michigan next week. They're going to win. They play Notre Dame. They're going to win. I'm not going to say anything about Michigan, about them playing Michigan. I'm just going to avoid. We aren't going to count that game.
We'll get to Michigan.
They play Illinois. They're going to win. They play Army. They're going to win. They play Purdue. They're going to win. They play Iowa. That's a game Iowa wins, so they might not win it.
I don't know. Wisconsin is kind of like immune to those kind of games.
Yeah. Rutgers, they're going to beat Rutgers. Northwestern, it's hard to say because Northwestern has had Wisconsin's number of late.
Mm-hmm.
They play Nebraska. They're going to beat Nebraska, and then they play Minnesota, and that game's going to be a toss-up if Mo Abraham's around.
Right. That's their last game?
Yep. I'm going to say Wisconsin has at least 10 wins.
There's a chance that Ibrahim could be back, so we'll see about that one. I will also go with the over. I think the Big Ten West sucks.
Yes.
Like it's compared to the East, it's just not even remotely similar. No. Wisconsin's gonna get over 9.5.
Yeah.
At least 10.
Could see 11. Big Ten West champion predictions. Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a doubt this year, unless Wisconsin is just dud back-to-back years.
Yeah.
And like a Minnesota or an Iowa sneaks in there. I think it's just going to be Wisconsin rolling through that whole entire division. Picked them to win 10 games. Haven't picked anybody to win 10 games. So I'm
Not yet.
Roll with Wisconsin.
Penn State. The Penn State Nittany Lions. They're a team in the Big Ten East playing their home games in Happy Valley in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, of all places. Man, I don't get, and we've hinted at it the entire time. I don't get the hype around Penn State. I really don't. And I put that in the notes. Sean Clifford, their senior quarterback, is pretty much all they got.
Everybody else left. Everyone else left.
They got everyone left.
They have a new offensive coordinator.
They got one guy where you think he might be something, but I mean, it's not like this is Ohio State. Penn State just doesn't pump out quarterbacks, like it's going out of style or anything.
Yeah.
Like they don't. This guy would have been like 4th on the depth chart had some guys not left. So I don't know what's up with that. So Sean Clifford or nothing for Penn State if they're going to be successful. Jahan Dotson is still there, probably the best wide receiver in the Big Ten outside of maybe one guy, and we'll get to him later.
I'd say maybe 2, but yes, he's definitely top 3.
Oh, I forgot about your guy. Yeah, no, probably top 3. I was thinking of the Indiana guy we'll get to later.
Yeah. I was thinking of him and another guy. But either way.
O-line sucks.
Bad. Terrible. Donkey ass.
Anybody they had established on defense is gone.
Bad. It is not going to be a happy time in Happy Valley this year.
I don't get why they're ranked 19th. I don't understand.
The over-under for Penn State is 9. What the fuck? The under. It's under. It's under. They're going to lose tomorrow. They're going to lose to... They're not going to lose to Ball State. They're going to lose to Auburn. Here, we're just going to do this. They'll beat Villanova.
I forget they have a football team half the time.
How sad of a state is your school that you're having to schedule Villanova as a football game? I digress. They will beat Villanova. They're going to lose to Iowa. They'll beat Penn State, or they will beat Illinois, I mean. They will most likely lose to Ohio State.
I would say by plenty.
They will lose. They might lose to Maryland. Who knows? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they're gonna lose to Michigan. They'll beat Rutgers.
Remains to be seen, because I don't know what the fuck to think of my team.
They'll beat Rutgers because it's Rutgers. It's stupid Rutgers, and then they're not gonna beat Michigan State. Penn State could lose to Villanova. Probably not.
They beat MSU.
But they're not going to hit 9 wins.
To Villanova, they're not. Okay.
They're not hitting 9.
So if you want to know my feelings on how Penn State's going to do, when I was putting together these notes and I saw that they were ranked 19th, and
that's how they're going to do.
And I saw this over-under. I wrote the notes, over-under, 9. What, in all caps, followed by 8 exclamation points. They ain't hitting 9 wins.
I don't think they're going to hit 8.
Fuck, they might just barely get bowl eligible. Maybe.
Penn State. This is going to be Penn State.
Loser.
Oh.
Loser.
You were pressing that button with some force.
Loser.
That's going to be Penn State. Loser.
God. S.
Loser S. You might want to go back and clip that for social media.
Oh, I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, Penn State's gonna lose a lot this year.
I mean, do I think they're the worst team in the Big Ten? No.
No, we haven't even gotten to them yet,
No.
which is sad.
No.
Which is-
I might have to rethink, given recent events, if that gives you any sort of idea. But
Maryland.
we'll get there when we get there.
Maryland.
Oh boy.
Maryland, their offense led by Tualia Tagovailoa, not Tua Tagovailoa.
Yep.
That's his younger
Guy's
brother.
Yep, transferred from Bama.
Tualia transferred from Bama to Maryland.
Of all places.
Yeah. Was an enigma.
They
either were good or they literally couldn't do shit.
Or they shot themselves in the foot.
Yes. With a Gatling gun.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good anything automatic. Any automatic gun, they just like turned around and shot themselves in the face. Like, they were either so good or so unbelievably crap that I don't sense to me.
And that's just their offense.
I watched plenty of Maryland last year.
Which is sad to say.
Right, I know. I just like watching Big Ten football, but God,
they've got good receivers, so theoretically their passing game should be there. Running game, fart noise. Defense, fart noise. So if Maryland's gonna win, I think it's gonna be by scores of 900 to 899.
Yeah.
The over under is 6. I'm looking at this. 1, 2, 3. 4. Oh.
You stopped at 4.
I'm just looking to see where they could get 2 more wins just to even touch 6.
I mean, if you have to look that hard, it's not looking promising.
I don't think Howard, Illinois, Kent State, Rutgers.
They scheduled Howard?
Yep. Here I was giving Penn State shit for scheduling Villanova. Maryland scheduled
whoever the hell
Howard.
that was that scheduled Fordham.
Nebraska.
Oh, Lord.
They could beat West Virginia tomorrow. West Virginia is only a 2.5 point favorite. Could happen. That could be 5.
Okay.
Michigan State 6.
I don't know. They're down in the basement with MSU, I think.
So I'm gonna have to take the under.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Maryland, but God,
It's just such
might stink.
That's-
They might stink.
Just looking at that, like, it's so hard to even try and, like, they might be bad. Like,
I mean, they're not going to be good. We know that.
yeah, no.
But they have a chance to be average, and God, maybe if something goes right for them,
They'll be bowl eligible.
Get them to that 6 wins to be bowl eligible. I don't see it happening, though. I got to take the under with you.
I will take... Do you want to take stupid Rutgers, or do you want me to take stupid Rutgers?
You know, in years past, I would have literally just put LOL next to Rutgers and just moved on. But they're not.
They won a Big Ten game last year.
They did. Yeah, like one of their first ever. They're not as bad as they used to be. They're still going to be really bad, but they're not as ass as they have been throughout the entirety of their Big Ten run. That's all I got to say. You take whatever you want on Rutgers.
Greg Schiano, you know, hey, Rutgers, thanks for taking him away from Ohio State. Seriously.
Yeah, I just wish he would have left the Big Ten altogether.
I wish Greg Schiano wouldn't be coaching.
I mean, I think that's the sentiment of most people.
He started out coaching at Rutgers, then he went to be Ohio State's defensive coordinator. He ran zone defense a bazillion times and caused Ohio State to lose some games because he literally didn't believe in anything other than zone defense. Didn't even throw a blitz in there. Didn't even blitz, just zone defense.
I was gonna make a Don Brown joke, but man, it's which one's the lesser of two evils? I don't know.
Yeah. So Rutgers, thanks for taking Greg Schiano away from us. The over-under is 4. I'm gonna say under.
Oh man, I don't know what to do.
I think Rutgers is gonna be the worst team in the Big Ten.
It's a low number, and I'm not sure about it, but I think they might get 4 and get you a push. I don't think they're gonna get more than that. If they make it to 4, that's great for them. I don't wish Greg Schiano any bit of success, but I think they get 4 wins. I'm gonna pull a U and say that it pushes at 4.
And go a push.
Yep.
Now, here's the only thing. The only thing Rutgers really had going for them last year that made them, I don't want to say difficult to stop.
Yeah, the only team that couldn't stop them was Michigan.
Yeah, that is true. The only thing
One
that
of the
made
worst games I've ever watched.
Yeah, that's also true. Made them a bit more of a unique team to stop is they threw a lot of trick plays and misdirection and reverses in their playbook last year. I don't think this year those are going to work as much. There's going to be a lot more game film to go off of now instead of in a regular year instead of a COVID year. So I'm under, probably the worst team in the Big Ten.
I mean, they're in the running for worst team in the Big Ten, but I don't know. How bad can you be? Like perpetually, like with no improvement whatsoever. And now that being said, here's something that I don't think any one of us really went off these notes here, but they scored more points last season than they had in any season since 2015 while playing 3 less games.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's improvement. Maybe they improve more. That's why I'm not so sold on Rutgers being the worst in the Big Ten. They're not going to be good. They're probably still going to be bad. I think
that is true.
Achievable. 4 is achievable.
I'm still going to go the under, but you do have some points there.
Yes.
Indiana. I hate the University of Indiana.
Yeah, right.
Indiana University.
You and Indiana is like me and Illinois basketball, because both fan bases did the same thing. Wow, COVID, we're Big Ten champs now.
It's not even that. Ohio State, I'm just a little backstory on Indiana, Ohio State. Penn State thinks Ohio State's it's a rival, or Ohio State is a rival, but Indiana, Penn State fans truly believe Ohio State is a rival.
They just beat Michigan for the first time in 30 years last year. Shut up.
Indiana has this big rivalry with Ohio State.
Is it really a rivalry when only one fan base cares?
No. But Indiana, because they haven't beaten Ohio State since the 80s, Indiana fans
pretty much the last time they beat Michigan
have made it a rivalry. And that's why I just hate Indiana. There's nothing good in Indiana other than people who hump goats.
I don't know. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is true. Goat fuck University.
So, breaking it down just to football in Indiana.
Fucking hate Indiana. Fucking hate Indiana.
well,
Hate the whole state.
No, you hate Indiana.
I hate the state even.
They had a solid team
They
last
did.
year, and we get to the guy who I said initially was the second best receiver in the Big Ten. Might bump him back to 3 with Ty Freifogel. And Michael Penix Jr., who the hell knows? He got hurt last year. Nobody's really sold on if he's 100% good to go. Whether he is or not, it appears that he's going to be the guy. So we'll see if it affects him at all, or if everyone's just blowing smoke and he's going to be fine. But they will need to find a star in the running game. They don't have one. They're going to need one. They don't need a star, but they need someone that can contribute and have it not all be on Michael Penix Jr. Like, he can't be the only guy. Him and Ty Freifogel can't just be it. Like, this ain't Madden on rookie and you just, like, throw 4 verticals every time. Like, it's not going to work. They do have some work to do in the defense. Secondary has to be better. If all of those things happen, well, if they just, I don't know, improve everywhere, apparently, they'll have a pretty solid season. And I do like their coach, Tom Allen. I know you probably don't, but
I hate everything about Indiana.
I think Tom Allen's a good coach. Even though I don't know, him celebrating a win against a hapless Michigan team last year, like they won the goddamn Super Bowl, was interesting. But he's putting Indiana in the right direction, somewhere they haven't been in, I don't know, 40, 50 years, something like that.
Fucking time.
So, I mean, good for him. But, I mean, he's doing something that a whole bunch of other guys can't. So, maybe he just got lucky with some good players and they'll fall back into obscurity. I think everybody would enjoy that. But I am rooting for Tom Allen a little bit. Over-under on Indiana's win total for the 2021 season is 7.5. Have you given yours already?
I have not. I'm gonna.
This ought to be interesting.
I'm gonna piggyback on to some of what you said. Indiana did have a good year last year. They only had 2 blemishes on their record because they lost to Kentucky.
Yeah, that one's weird.
They lost to Ohio State. I'm not gonna go anywhere with that. I'm not. They lost to Ohio State. And a very good game. Like, I'll even admit it, a good game. They lost to, of all teams, their second loss was Kentucky.
And then they lost their bowl game.
Yeah.
In their worst game of the year.
Their bowl game was Kentucky.
No, I thought it was Ole Miss.
Oh, then they lost to Ole Miss then. Which is just as bad as losing to Kentucky.
Yeah, Ole Miss wasn't all that good.
You could say what you want about not having Michael Penix Jr. in the game against Ole Miss, but they still lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, who gave up like 70 points to Alabama.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, and oddly enough, it wasn't Indiana's defense that had anything to do with them losing. That their offense was clueless.
Yeah, their offense was terrible.
Against Ole Miss, of all teams.
That gave up, that was just defensively hapless. If Indiana wants to do better, they're going to have to... It's going to have to be more than Ty Freifogel, who is, I believe, one of the 2 best receivers in the Big Ten.
Yeah, he's up there.
It's going to have to be more than Ty Freifogel and Michael Penix Jr. Defensively, they need to fix things. If they can do that, they will very much clear the over-under. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Yep.
I think...
For sure.
Let me look at their schedule.
By the way, I don't think I sent you the password for the
I already got it taken care of. It was the jorts.
It was a very predictable password.
Yeah. 1, 2.
If you haven't already, make your picks before tomorrow so we can actually like keep track of this.
I made them already.
Perfect. Makes it so I don't have to do it like manually.
I'm gonna take the over
Ah,
on Indiana.
a pleasant surprise.
I mean,
That number is low though. 7.5, I think, is low for a team that was pretty good last year.
yeah. Like I was looking at it, I was like, that's a low number. I think
it's just because nobody knows what Michael Penix Jr. is gonna be
Yeah.
if he's healthy or anything like that. I feel like that's probably why it's so low. I am also gonna take the over on Indiana. They have the chance to be, I think, maybe the second best team in the Big Ten East.
yeah,
Second best is within reach.
yes.
Because again, I don't think Penn State's gonna be worth a damn.
No. Michigan State.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna take this one first. I'm gonna lead off with this one.
Hopefully it updated for you because I had to make a correction.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, perfect.
Rocky Lombardi is gone. He was bad, which him leaving does not hurt Michigan State. It probably helps them.
Well, it could have helped them. I don't know. It's like a parallel leap. Like they're in the same spot. I think. Like I don't know. I don't know much about this dude, but we'll get there.
It didn't hurt them.
It didn't hurt them. No, I don't think it hurt them.
Rocky Lombardi, who famously threw a 0-yard interception interception that was returned 0 yards for a touchdown against Ohio State last year, transferred to Illinois.
Ton of picks, Northern Illinois.
Or to Northern Illinois.
He ain't good enough to transfer to another Big Ten team. Let's
No.
be real here.
Anthony Russo, who threw a handful
Just
of passes.
about as many picks.
A handful of passes last year for Temple. Transferred to Michigan State. Everyone thought he was going to get the starting job. He did not. Peyton Thorne got the starting nod. It appears to be...
Mel Tucker pulled a Jim Harbaugh and just didn't even tell anybody who was going to be starting until kickoff.
It appears as of right now to be working. Michigan State's up 28-7 on Northwestern with 11:30 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yes, they did punch it in from the goal line. When we had looked last, they were on the 2.
Yep.
I opened up my app just to see. Because I thought about MSU. I was like, wait, did Russo start or was it somebody else?
Yeah.
And it was somebody else. I'm like, who the hell's Peyton Thorne?
The O-line was terrible, and they're all back. Their running game last year was bad. As of right now, this new guy, Kenneth Walker, a junior from Tennessee, ran for, he's averaging 10.5 yards a carry, meaning 157 yards on 15 carries. With three touchdowns.
Either Michigan State is really good or Northwestern is ass. And might not win a single game.
Might be the worst team in the Big Ten. The defense or the receivers still have the same good receivers from last year. It's just, can a quarterback hit them?
Right. Apparently the answer tonight is yes.
The defense isn't. It's there. It exists.
It's not great.
Things. It's hard to say. Might not win a lot of games. Might win some. Might win. Might not win.
So, as I've alluded to before this game tonight, I thought MSU, and it's not just my bias because I hate them, I thought MSU had the potential to be the worst team in the Big Ten.
Fair, because before tonight, I would have said the same thing.
I know their win total is higher than a couple other teams, but there were just so many question marks. You look at the team from last year.
And they were bad. They lost to Rutgers.
It didn't appear to be all that much better. And it just, God. I thought for sure they would be just as bad, if not worse. But I don't know. Maybe they still are. I'm going to have to retract my statement for the moment of saying they're the worst team in the Big Ten, because Northwestern, it looks like they could be historically bad if they're losing this bad. And I was that.
It is 28-14, so
I mean, hey,
Northwestern did just score.
Hey, they scored. We got a chance. I mean, this could be that. I think that still could be the two worst teams in the Big Ten if they keep on that trajectory. But yeah, we shall see. Over under 4.5 on MSU. What?
Oh God, that's such a low number. If it was 4, I would take the over 100%.
Right.
Because they play
Youngstown. 5 wins.
They play Youngstown State next week. They play Rutgers.
Questionable.
Western Kentucky.
Probably a win, but not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee. Nebraska should be a win.
They're getting close already.
They're good if they beat Northwestern. One win. I'm just gonna count even though it's hard to you never know with this Michigan State team, with that Michigan State team. They were bad last year.
They were very bad.
Youngstown State win, Nebraska win, Western Kentucky win. There's 3.
Is Jim Tressel still at Youngstown State?
As the dean or the president of something.
I thought he was a coach.
No.
Shows how much I pay attention to
No.
Youngstown State.
I would say if he was the coach at Youngstown State, then no, Michigan State's not going to win.
I have to know now. Hold on. You keep going.
Side note, Jim Tressel lost to Michigan State, I believe, once in his career at Ohio State.
To interrupt you really quickly, he is both.
Oh, so never mind. Nope, Michigan State's not going to beat Youngstown. Push. 4-win push.
Wait, no, I lied. This article makes no sense. It says he's a coach. Wait, I don't know.
Just go to Wikipedia.
I am. Oh, okay. He was.
I would say he was at one point.
Ages ago.
Yeah.
He is not anymore. He's just an administrator.
Yeah. Okay, so back to it's a win for Michigan State. So I'm still gonna say 4-win push.
Isn't it? It's at 4.5 though.
Oh fuck. Shit. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4.
5 is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to take the over. I think 5 could be possible.
Man, I don't know about these guys.
It's so bad. It's so hard to say.
Of all the teams to give me a friggin' 4.5 or a half of anything on,
Right.
MSU, one of the ones I'm the most confused about. I'm still gonna say under because I think they are. Judging by tonight, I think Northwestern might just be really shit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say under. I'm not gonna completely abandon them being the worst team in the Big Ten. Maybe Northwestern gets it together and I can be somehow proven right, but they're still gonna be really bad. One of the worst teams in the Big Ten for sure.
Yeah. On to the Michigan Wolverines. All I'm gonna say, take the floor first. You go ahead and take the floor. I will save for what I wanted to say afterwards. Jordan? Huh. Well, this is awkward. I believe we lost Jordan. This is, yeah, we lost Jordan. Jordan might be back. Hello?
I am currently back.
Oh, you're back. Sweet.
Hello.
Oh, okay. I will hold off on what I wanted to say about Michigan until after you go ahead and take this.
All right. Obviously, the Michigan Wolverines are my team. Last year was a regression that I don't think anybody saw coming.
No,
Like, I don't think anybody expected Michigan to be like phenomenal or anything.
I don't think anyone expected
But
him to be that bad, though.
nobody expected them to be that bad. I think the coaching decisions were very bizarre. Although I don't know, maybe I'm gonna have to eat my words on Joe Milton. He was pretty good for Tennessee last night, but wow, when he was here at Michigan for like 3 games, 4 games, however many games he started, he was just putrid. He was awful. One of the worst quarterbacks we've seen. I would have gone with Dylan McCaffrey over Joe Milton before the season even started, and that didn't happen. And he ended up transferring, go play for his dad somewhere in Colorado. It got until a Rutgers game, and I was already sold that Joe Milton was terrible. Like
He was bad.
He looked out of place. He looked like, why was he even at a Power 5 school? He looked like what are you doing? And it's not just like play calling sort of thing. Like he just looked awful. And you get to the Rutgers game, and I was ready to bench him before that game even started. And he looked awful against Rutgers. And then Cade McNamara came in, looked solid, took fucking overtime.
3.
But led us to a win against
3
Rutgers.
overtimes.
It took way more than I would have liked. So Cade McNamara is back once again. Cade McNamara finished out the season sort of as much as Michigan could have finished out the season. And it was better. It wasn't phenomenal by any means, but the offense looked like they at least were functional with him under center. He's a starter this year. The 5-star recruit JJ McCarthy, not the starter. Kind of hoping he redshirts. I really don't want to just waste a year of eligibility when we don't need to have him as the backup necessarily. Like if Cade McNamara goes down, just put in whoever else. It's gonna be a wash of the season anyway. One of the only good things about Michigan last year was the offensive line, and they were pretty solid. Led the Big Ten, I do believe, in fewest amount of tackles for loss allowed, which is fairly solid given that how bad our season was. That wasn't really our problem, like taking big losses or anything like that. It was just when we were trying to move the ball down the field, nothing fucking happened. That was the problem. So, offensive line should still be good. Hassan Haskins is back at starting running back. But after that, it's all new. Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards are going to kind of be the second-string guys. Excited specifically about Donovan Edwards. He should be the starter for the future. So hopefully that goes well. But when it comes to the running game for the University of Michigan Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh just has to use running backs correctly. I don't know what it is. He can't use them right. He never has. And I don't understand it. Like, we had, Zach Charbonnet was a solid guy for us. Never used him. Transferred away. Fucking hell. Guy's so forgettable. I already forgot his name. We had a solid running back before him. That
so forgettable.
But he was solid. I don't remember his name. I really don't. He was like I said, he's pretty forgettable. But he just went out there and did his job. And he platooned him with Chris Evans. Because why not? It made no sense. It still doesn't make any sense how Jim Harbaugh goes trying to get a run game. I will never understand it. Defense. Oh boy. They can't possibly be any worse now that Don Brown is gone.
Okay,
and
fair.
I was was on the Don Brown hype train his first couple seasons when we had some of the best defenses in the country.
Until you played Ohio State.
Yeah, until we played Ohio State. It would always go well defensively up until then, and then we'd allow like 60-some points. But good Lord above, like, as his tenure as DC went on, it's just like, okay, Don, hey, I think they're on to the fact that you blitz more than 50% of the time. Can we do something else? Like, I get that your nickname is Dr. Blitz, but can we please do something else? Mix it up. I get you're an old guy. I get you're not going to change. But good God, can we at least just not do it as much? Like, come on, Don. God, he was so painful to watch those last 2 years in Michigan. So he's gone. Thank God. Pretty much everybody on the coaching staff except Jim Harbaugh is gone. Like, we got a whole bunch of weird guys in there. We got Mike Hart, the guy that seemed to play at Michigan like 12 years at running back, coaching the running backs now. Hopefully that'll be good.
Lost to Ohio State every time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people have.
That's not exactly Mike Hart's fault. That team was hit all of his teams, all 27 of the years that he was in Michigan. Like, yeah, I don't know. Those teams just were.
I mean, the one year with Chad Henne, where they were the number 2 team going up against Ohio State, and then lost to Troy Smith.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike Hart was there for the loss to Appalachian State. Like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Mike Hart. My favorite thing about Mike Hart, just to interrupt you, or my favorite Ohio State related thing to Mike Hart is he was the guy on Michigan that always would guarantee a win against Ohio State, and it never came. It still hasn't came.
Yeah.
Mike Hart hasn't, in his time as a football coach, he coached at Indiana for a couple years. Mike Hart has still yet to register a win against Ohio State in his life.
Yep.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he was also the guy that coined the little brother phrase for MSU that we then ate his words as a fan base for like the next 8 years.
Yeah.
When MSU was kicking our butt every single year.
Yeah.
Like when Rich Rod and Brady Hoke were there.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. I mean, I love Mike Hart, but man, he just needs to shut up. So hopefully he's aged a little bit, and he ain't gonna talk as much.
God, for his sake, I hope so.
When it gets to the MSU game, when it gets to the Ohio State game, someone's gonna be like Mike Hart ain't gonna talk to the media throughout any rest of the games all year long. And then when it gets to those games,
someone's gonna go up to him.
He's gonna be like, "Hey, I want to talk to Mike Hart. Hey, Mike, what do you think about this game? Well, I guarantee a win, and we're gonna fucking lose. Just the way everything happens.
Gonna lose by a hundo.
God damn. But yeah.
But continue.
Anyway, back to my original point. Everybody on the coaching staff is pretty much new except Harbaugh. I think a lot of, especially on the defense with Don Brown. Josh Gaddis was not a great offensive coordinator either, but good Lord. I mean, like, I'm just hoping, like, now there's no excuse for Jim. Like, if you go out there and do the same stuff and you're calling the same plays, because Jim calls the plays, I mean, everything goes through his headset. They give him suggestions, but at the end of the day, Jim calls them. If you go out there and look similar to what you did last year, or just similar to the entire bit of your tenure, it's gonna suck. You know, you don't want to fire a guy who, you know, loves the school and everything, and, you know, before he got here, everyone wanted him, and he was a legend and everything. You don't want to fire a guy like that. But, man, if they'll just go out there and do the same stuff that they've done throughout his entire tenure, you know where the problem is now. Like, there's no denying it, and he's got to go. But goodness gracious, I haven't even gone on to the rest of the defense yet. I put this in the notes, hoping you read it. Even though me and you don't play college football, the entire Michigan defense only had 2 more interceptions than we did. They had 2, and only 1 came from the secondary.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
really bad.
all those blitzes and we couldn't ever get a pass rush to disrupt the quarterback.
Yeah.
Our biggest guy, or well, not biggest guy, but like biggest playmaker on defense, Aiden Hutchinson's back. I don't even know why. He's a Don Brown sort of defensive lineman. Like, he's small. Don Brown, like these small, athletic defensive linemen, and it worked somewhat with Chase Winovich. It didn't work with Rashawn Gary or anybody else. So now we got some beef on the defensive line. Hopefully they can turn things around, get us a little bit of a pass rush. Secondary, oh my God, we should be good. Secondary should be good. We got Daxton Hill. Dude was committed to Alabama at one point. Flipped his commitment to Michigan. Should be great. And I think he would be if he got some goddamn help from his pass rush. And it's not all on him. Other safety, Brad Hawkins, pretty solid. Safety could be really good. Corners, we'll see. Oh my God, I don't know about this team. I don't know. I don't think it's possible that they're as bad as they were last year.
No, I will say that.
I think they have a chance.
Before we get to the over/under, I'm gonna throw some stuff in there. Before we get to the over/under, was that where you were going? Was over/under?
It was leading up to that, yes. So go ahead.
Before we get to the over/under, I want to say two things. Three things. Number one, you echoed it pretty good. I think if things don't go well this year, and I've said it before, if things don't go well this year, Harbaugh needs to go.
I mean, you just know at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
that he's not the guy.
If you redo the entire coaching staff, and it's still more the same, then yeah, I mean, he's got no excuses anymore. And I've made excuses for Harbaugh in the past. Through year 5, I think, is when I stopped.
Well, eventually you can't keep making excuses for him.
Right. And
I will say
not beating Ohio State thing is what it is, because damn near nobody can beat Ohio State.
It just doesn't happen. Unless you're Alabama or Clemson, it doesn't really happen.
I get why that's such a focal point for the fan base of beating Ohio State, because that's what especially the older generation is used to. They're used to beating Ohio State every now and then, at least. Yeah. Even when we're bad, it doesn't stay this bad for so long. I just think Ohio State is such a juggernaut that at this point, I don't know if it's a really fair comparison. But when you're not even beating Michigan State half the time, and you're losing to Indiana, and I get they had a great year last year, they had a great team, but when you're losing to them that hasn't beat you in ages, it's just like, God.
So I'm also going to say,
what can you do?
Also piggybacking on the coaching, yes, I think, and I've said it about 2 years ago, is when I noticed a big change. And granted, it was only two coaches, and also granted, it happens. Coaches leave schools in college football. It is, and when Michigan's linebackers coach Al Washington, and then there was one, I can't remember who the other one was.
Flip to Ohio State.
That's not unheard of. Was it Madison? Was it Madison? Yes, it was.
He did work for Ohio State. I don't know if it's around the same time period, but I know he flipped.
They both did the same year,
or maybe 5 years ago. Yeah.
No, it was like 3.
Then we had guys that played under Madison, like Joe Bolden, go and work on the Ohio State coaching staff.
When you have people it's not unheard of in this rivalry where that does happen. It's extremely uncommon. It's not unheard of in college football in general, where a school or a coach goes to their school's biggest rival.
I mean, look at Saban.
Yeah.
LSU to Alabama. I mean, it's not totally uncommon.
It's not unheard of. It's uncommon. It happens.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen often.
When you have it, having lived on both sides of the state border of Michigan, of the Ohio State-Michigan border, it is a rivalry unlike anything in college sports. There is a hatred almost.
Mm-hmm. It motivated the name of this podcast,
Yes, it did.
among other things, but
Yeah.
that specifically.
Yeah. When you see that happen, there is something going wrong with the entire program at a philosophical level. And that goes back to the head coach.
It does. It absolutely does.
So I do think this year, I've said it before, that this it's either something needs to change or Harbaugh needs to be out. I think this year, now that their entire staff is pretty much redone, it's on him. Second,
It can't be on anybody else.
yeah,
Like it has to be. It has to be on Jim. And I get that he probably has more pull in our athletic department than our AD Ward Manuel does.
yeah.
But at the same time,
I mean, Ryan Day does at Ohio State, like
right,
100%.
Like we're doing this. If we're doing the same stuff that we were doing in 2015 when he got here, it's just like we gotta do something else. It's make or break, man. And I'm not saying we need to go win the national championship or anything, but if we go out and look just as awful as we did in year 7 of Harbaugh, he's got to go. There's no way around it.
Also, my third thing. Last year, Ohio State's coach Ryan Day promised to drop $100 on Michigan this year, or last season.
Yes.
Since that game did not happen last season, I would be afraid if I was a Michigan fan.
Yeah, I think they could have easily. I mean, I don't know about 100. 100 points is a hard thing to get to, but
$100's a lot.
They would have crushed last year's Michigan team. There's no doubt about it, and that's briefly, about that whole thing last year with people saying, "Oh, Michigan dodged Ohio State." Everyone knew it was going to happen. Like, what do you mean?
It was going to be ugly.
I mean, it has been.
It would have,
for however long.
It would have been ugly to a point where it probably would have just killed the program.
It should, yeah.
Like,
and I mean, this season has the potential to kill the program. I mean,
yeah.
Like you talk about just more of the same. We get solid recruits. We're always decent in recruiting, and they never do anything with anybody. So you look at that as a kid coming out of high school, looking to go to college, find yourself a good spot where you can potentially get to the NFL. Michigan, if it just continues to be this way, it ain't gonna be this place.
That was kind of my
go here.
That was gonna be my next legitimate point. You already took those out of my mouth, so I'm not gonna say anything. Over under for Michigan is 7.5. I'm gonna go with the under at 7.
The under at 7.
I just
I don't think they're gonna have any problem non-conference.
No, other than maybe Washington.
I mean, maybe Washington. It ain't gonna be no crazy win. I think they'll beat them.
I have them losing to Washington, but I think it's gonna be a close game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna get blown out.
I am going to go with the over, but only slightly at 8.
Okay, fair. So we're just barely on either side of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 8 wins. If you improve after last year, where we won 2 games.
Yeah.
If you improve to 8 wins, hey, it's better than nothing.
Here's the thing. I will say, last year they would have won 6 if it was a normal year, because they would have had 4 non-conference games, and so they would have had 6 wins.
Which is still despicable, but yes.
Well, yes. So I take it you have them beating Washington. I have them losing. That's where our 1 game difference is. So fair enough.
I do have them beating Washington. We'll see where that spread winds up. I just don't think Washington's as good as they were when those games were scheduled.
Fair.
When those were scheduled 4 years ago or something. If we played them back then, Washington kicks our ass because Washington was on the outside of the playoff when we scheduled those games. But now,
Fair.
and I mean, to be fair, so were we. Like,
Yeah.
we were right around there, top 10, everything. So
Fair.
hard to say, but I think 8 wins is a realistic number. Obviously, I want more, but I'm not expecting it.
Fair. And last but not least, the death machine that is Ohio State football.
Oh boy. I'ma just mute myself and let you go.
I'm going to take this. I'm not going to say a whole lot about last night's game. I'm going to save last night's game as a recap for next week's podcast, because I already touched a little bit on it talking about Minnesota. I will say, CJ, with Justin Fields gone, we had at Ohio State had some questions at quarterback. Was it going to be Quinn Ewers, who left high school early to go play at Ohio State? Well, unfortunately, the man with the mullet is not playing as of right now, or is not the starter. CJ Stroud is redshirt freshman. If he plays like he did in the second half against Minnesota last night, it will be good. He will be good. He still has in my opinion, the best receiver in the Big Ten to throw to. It's Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson is also very good. Jackson Smith and Jigba is good. I'm just going to put it this way. Skill positions at Ohio State, they're good. Running backs. Master Teague did not get a whole lot of carries yesterday. Mayan Williams wearing the vaunted number 28. The last person to wear 28 at Ohio State was one Chris Beanie Wells, who terrorized, and I mean terrorized, Big Ten defenses for 4 years. Was the main running back yesterday. Travion Henderson, who also left high school early, got some carries, and boy, he is fast. He's going to be featured on special teams also. And Master Teague, he's still pretty good too. Moving over to the defensive side, the defensive line is still very good, led by the man who was shot in the mouth, Haskell Garrett. Former Michigan High School State Defensive Player of the Year 4-time. Zach Harrison out of Cass Tech is also on that defensive line. They're pretty good. He's pretty good too. Defensive line's good. They are going to be elite against the run, as they were last year, as they have been for a long time. Even before Mo Ibrahim hurt himself, he had 163 yards on 35 carries. So you do the math there. It was, 5 yards a carry, 5 yards a pop ish. It's good, but I think that was an abnormality because of how good Minnesota's offensive line is. Christ, Minnesota had a offensive lineman who is 6'9", 370. That's a big man. That is a big man. Pass coverage is going to be a question, as it has been for Ohio State in years past. Last year, they were allowing 304 yards passing per game. Shaun Wade's gone, and as of right now, see ya, bitch. I still have a bad taste in my mouth from the game against Alabama. Sevyn Banks is back. He did not play last night because of an injury. That's going to be the big question, is Ohio State had a handful of players who did not play yesterday because of injury. One starting center, Harry Miller, was out. Josh Proctor left the game early because of an injury. Safety Josh Proctor left because of an injury early. Late in the fourth quarter. Sevyn Banks didn't play, and one other original starting defensive back did not play.
I couldn't tell you who it is.
I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm going to go look that up because it's going to bother me.
I only tuned into that game like halfway through. Like right when Minnesota scored just before halftime, and then I watched the rest of it.
Then you watched the beatdown that occurred afterwards.
Yeah, I watched Minnesota. I watched Ohio State score in like 5 plays to start the second half. Watched Minnesota score right after that, and then they were never in the game again.
Yeah.
Rough times for the boat. Like I said, the boat's not sunk, but the boat is severely damaged. Gonna need some patchwork after last night.
Cameron Brown. Here are the defensive players that were not available yesterday. Defensive back Cameron Brown, defensive end Tyler Friday. Actually, those were all your defensive starters. Never mind, just those two. There was a couple others, but the only other question, secondary, I think they'll still be good enough to get the job done. The linebacking core, there's people who play linebacker on Ohio State. This year could be a question of linebacker.
That is by far the worst position group on your team.
Yes.
And yet it's still better than half the Big Ten.
Yes. All of Ohio State's starting linebackers got drafted within the first 3 rounds this past NFL draft. That's all I'm gonna say. Running back Steel Chambers, former Ohio State running back Steel Chambers, converted to now become Ohio State linebacker Steel Chambers.
Oh my!
For any Michigan fans who
scary name. Why do you guys have 2 of the best names in all of college football? Like, Steel Chambers, good God. Like, how are you not afraid of that man? And then Master Teague.
Oh, God.
I don't know if it's any Jake Butt, though.
All I'm going to say, when I found out that Steel Chambers was moving over to linebacker, was it gave me flashes, and Jordan's probably going to just have nightmares of this now. When former Ohio State running back Zach Boren flipped over to linebacker, and then in the Ohio State-Michigan game in, 2013?
Something like that.
2014. 2014, Zach Boren killed. And I mean killed. Poor Devin Gardner.
I mean, a lot of people killed Devin Gardner, too.
Devin Gardner got put in the night room.
I mean, what do you expect? Fucking quarterback wearing big old number 98.
That is true. Ohio State, depending on how if Ohio State's always been a second half team, just lately.
Mm-hmm.
If
Don't
they could
remind me. You guys give me hope that we can beat you, and then the second half comes around, and it's a nuclear bomb dropped on our cocks.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair way to put it. If they could put 4 full quarters together, everybody run and hide.
Oy.
The over-under is 11.
It sure is.
What are you taking?
There are 12 games, correct? In
the regular season.
Regular season?
Yep.
Oh, man, I would never bet this. I would never bet this because the profit margin would be so small.
Yeah.
Gotta take the over, man. I hate it. It sucks. The evil empire rolls on. They go undefeated in the regular season. We'll get to where they go after that in a second, but
I so if I knew how good Oregon was gonna be this year, I would take the over.
Oh, Oregon makes you question, huh?
makes me question the one win. Oregon makes me question the one win.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna take the over though.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm gonna take the over though. I don't think
Best team in the Big Ten. Hey, it pains me to say it. God damn.
I'm gonna have to take the over. I would not put money on it.
Even though they didn't look all that great last night, they were great for a quarter and a half at the end of that game. They kept themselves in the game,
Yep.
and then squeezed the life out of their opponent, like they always do when they're in any sort of trouble, and
Yep.
just slowly take away hope.
That's about a way to put it. Big East champion predictions. I believe we just both gave ours. Rutgers.
I believe you mean the Big Ten East, because the Big East doesn't play football anymore.
Big Ten East champion predictions. Rutgers.
There we go. Yes, 100% Rutgers. Put $1,000 on it. They're gonna win a Big Ten East. They're gonna be national champions.
Oh god! Can you imagine how much money you would make if you put $1,000 on Rutgers to win the national title, and they did though?
I don't even know if I can try and find out. Like, I don't even know how far down I'm gonna have to scroll to find this. College. Let's see. I'm curious now.
I do want to know their odds.
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to find them.
Probably not. Fuck.
Oh, I'm going down. I see a lot of bums down here. Nope, I don't even think there's odds. I mean, there's Michigan State. No, there's Minnesota and Northwestern.
Let's see. Rutgers to just win the Big Ten is a plus 20,000.
Oh, God. So then we're probably talking plus 100,000 on them to win the Natty.
Yeah.
Well, it was a nice dream.
Yeah. Big Ten title game predictions. What do you got?
Oh, man. So we both had Ohio State and Wisconsin in there, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think Wisconsin's going to be good. I don't think they're at that level unless they get lucky somehow and beat Ohio State. Maybe lucky with some injuries or something. I don't know. I still can't. I treat this as if we were betting on it, so I can't pick anybody but Ohio State.
I have a rule where I do not put money on Ohio State. But if I was betting on... Yes, I don't. If I was betting on this, I just don't think Wisconsin has enough to beat Ohio State. Correct. So I would have to say Ohio State wins. By probably 10.
I mean, that's fair. Even though it'll probably be 50.
The last time they played Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game, it was a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It sure was.
Poor Wisconsin gets bludgeoned by Ohio State in the Big Ten title.
Everybody gets bludgeoned.
Not Northwestern. Northwestern always hangs in there a little bit. And then gets
because
bludgeoned.
they're an anomaly and they don't make sense.
Yeah. I personally do not want to do college football playoff predictions since we've only seen one game.
I have some odds to help you out.
Okay, fine.
And I only have, I think, the top 10 or 12 here.
Mine are going to be very unique, though. Because I think, I will say while you're doing this, I think this will be...
I already have them up. I screenshotted them earlier in the day.
I think this is 100% going to be the year where there's going to be a... Last year was the start of saying, hey, we need to have an expansion in the playoff. I think this year 100% is going to be the catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I feel that. All right, so I'll read these from top to bottom here. And this is just to this is actually to be the national champion. These are their current odds. So we have Alabama at plus 260, Clemson at plus 450, Ohio State at plus 600, Georgia also at plus 600, Oklahoma at plus 800, Texas A&M, wow, we fall off a little bit here, at plus 4,000, Iowa State plus 4,000, Florida plus 5,000, North Carolina plus 5,000. They already lost.
They lost today.
Miami plus 5,000, LSU plus 5,000, and Oregon plus 6,600. Those are your top 12, I believe.
Okay. So here are my 4. Alabama, Clemson,
Naturally.
and this is in no particular order, by the way.
That's fine.
Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm going to say this real quick.
Okay.
I think Oklahoma's going to be undefeated.
But you don't think they're going to make it because of the Big 12?
Correct. I think Georgia is going to have one loss, and it's going to be to Alabama.
Yeah. Naturally. But that hasn't been a problem before. You can lose to Alabama and still make the playoff.
But I also think Alabama's going to have one loss, and it's going to be to Georgia.
Whoa! What?
Yes.
Where?
Actually, no, that might not be right, because I don't think they play each other in the regular season. They do not. Never mind.
If they don't, then they could very well be undefeated up until the SEC title game.
So I think Georgia will have one loss, and it'll be to Bama. Yeah. I think Bama and Ohio State will be undefeated. I think Oklahoma is going to be undefeated, but on the outside looking in. Because I think Clemson is going to lose to Georgia, and Georgia's going to lose to Bama.
So, mine don't differ a lot.
Okay.
Alabama, Ohio State, they're in.
Yep.
I think that they have just such a clear path. It's easy.
Okay.
I think Georgia gets in.
Okay.
That pretty much means of viable options, we're down to Clemson and Oklahoma. And I say Oklahoma gets in over Clemson. I don't trust in DJ Uiagalelei, or however you say his name.
That's about right. That sounds about right.
Because you saw what that team was without Trevor Lawrence last year. And I'm sure he's, put in the work and probably is substantially better. But I mean, that team was down heavy to Boston College without Trevor Lawrence before coming back and making it happen.
All on the back of Travis Etienne.
Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with I'm just going to call him DJ because I ain't even going to try and pronounce that name.
Yeah.
So,
fair enough.
Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma.
Like I said, I think
Spencer Rattler, Oklahoma last year, full season, the real college football atmosphere back. I think Oklahoma finally puts it together and gets a good shot at this thing.
Fair enough. I think Oklahoma, like I said, I think because of just how easy the ACC is, because no Notre Dame this year in the ACC. Notre Dame went back to independent.
Yep, and yet they're still ranked 9th.
Yeah. I think Clemson loses.
Notre Dame is nowhere on that list.
Oh, God, no. Clemson loses tomorrow.
They don't play anybody. Tomorrow? Who do they play tomorrow? Georgia?
Georgia. Clemson loses tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
But I think Clemson mostly walks through the rest of their schedule.
They probably will.
I think the only tripping
Well,
point could possibly be Miami.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
Oklahoma could very well run through their schedule. And if they do, and Clemson's lost to Georgia, how do you not put Oklahoma in?
Because it's Clemson.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
There's some truth to that.
Like, Oklahoma's just been. It's the same thing with why I don't think Oklahoma really has a shot or deserves a shot right now, because the past couple times they've been in, they've just been kicked in the dick.
Yeah. Fair enough.
They had that 1 year against.
If the committee is actually taking that into account, that's wrong. But I don't.
Oh, I agree.
I don't necessarily believe that they're not.
Yeah, like it's the same thing with Notre Dame. Anytime Notre Dame has been put on a national championship style game, they get kicked in the dick.
They get kicked in the dick.
Other than the 1 year, I believe it was 2016. No. 15, whatever year it was, 2017, I think it was, when we had Oklahoma, Georgia as one of the college football playoff games. That was the only year that Oklahoma showed up, and they still lost.
Right. All right. Fair enough.
So I think that even though it's wrong that the committee looks at it that way, I would not be surprised. So, that is our college football preview, guys. We will be recapping most of of the important college football games next week. With that being said, let's get into the picks for this week.
Alrighty. Well, I'll let you pull them up.
I had to.
We'll run.
Is that the right scene? Is this the right scene? It is.
By the way, I did forget to make a scene for something, and that's Champ and Chump of the Week.
We still have the old one.
I knew I forgot something.
We still have the old one. Yeah.
All right, we'll deal with that for this week, and then I'll make it up. All right, let me know when you have those picks up.
I do.
All right. So,
reminder for everyone. Excuse me. We are picking against the spread.
yes,
We are not just picking straight win-loss.
We haven't always done this in years past. We started to a little bit last year, but we really didn't get a season started until the end of college or football in general.
Yep.
So this is the way we go. We got a little pick'em on CBS Sports. Just way easier to keep track of.
Yes.
And usually I'd put a Michigan game last. I'd put our teams last, but I can't because it's at the top here.
And Ohio
Tomorrow
State
at
already
noon.
played.
And Ohio State already played. Tomorrow at noon, Michigan against Western Michigan. Michigan favored by 17 and a half. Who do you got? Usually I'd go into matchup analysis, but we really have no clue here for week one.
So I am going with Michigan because this is an important game.
Yeah.
It's week one.
They need to come out and show up.
They need to win big. This is a win big game for Michigan.
Mm-hmm. So you're going Michigan.
If they don't win big, that's a problem.
Oh, it's already gone wrong, and it's only week one.
Yeah.
If we need to at least cover, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Win by 3 scores, and we'll be fine. Now we move on, and so I told you earlier today, I picked some weird spreads for this week, and that's intentional because there's not that many big games going on here in the first real week. It is Nebraska, who is already 0-1 on the year, but they are favored by an even 40 against Fordham. Who do you got?
You're going to laugh at this, but for a team like Nebraska, 40 is a lot.
You are taking Fordham plus 40.
Not to win, but they will cover.
I'm doing the same. There's 40 points? You're going to give me 40 points?
For Nebraska.
Come on!
If this was Ohio State playing Fordham, I would take Ohio State.
Yes! This is Nebraska, and I get that Fordham's ass. But
Nebraska.
40 points?
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
The
win,
Cornmen.
clearly.
Yes, Nebraska will win, but they are not going to win by 40.
Oh, he's not the Corn Man. That title's strictly reserved for John O'Corn. We move on. The Oklahoma Sooners, number 2 ranked team in the country, against Tulane. Oklahoma favored by 26.5.
Oklahoma.
Spencer Rattler, potential Heisman candidate.
Oklahoma.
Oh, no hesitation there. I'm going with Oklahoma as well. I think 26 is too small.
Yes.
The Tulane isn't just terrible. And
Isn't Fordham?
Yes, but I think Oklahoma's for real this year.
Yes.
We move on. A game we've already talked about. Penn State. They play Wisconsin tomorrow at noon. Big noon Saturday on Fox. Wisconsin favored by 4.5 at home. Who do you got?
That spread needs to be bigger. Bigger still. Wisconsin is going to maul. Wisconsin is going to decimate, obliterate, terminate, and just fucking beat Penn State. It's going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. Penn State's going to get bludgeoned.
That spread could go up 10 points. I still think I'm picking Wisconsin.
Yep.
4.5. That's all you're going to give me. Nothing more. Taking Wisconsin, that's easy.
Wisconsin's going to win by more than 4. 5.
I put this on here solely for you. 2 Ohio teams. Miami, Ohio, traveling to Cincinnati. Cincinnati ranked 8th in the country, by the way. They are a 23.5-point favorite at home. 91% of the people on CBS picking Cincinnati. You want that spread up too, eh?
Yep, that's another spread that I want up.
Yeah.
I'm going Cincy, the Bearcats.
All right.
My mom's alma mater.
Yes. I forgot about that. I
A lot of
put
people
this
do.
game on here only because it is irrelevant and the spread was really tiny, which is kind of like off from my theme this week. Marshall, the Thundering Herd, traveled to Navy. Navy, an underdog at home by 3.5 to Marshall. By the way, and this is because this is the only amount of analysis that I can give you, 81% of the people are taking Navy.
I am one of those 81%. I'm taking Navy.
As am I. Can't go against my dad, Navy veteran and all. We're gonna go Navy. Oh, this game. Why? Even though Miami is ranked 14th in the country, even though they are only an 18.5-point underdog against the juggernaut that is Alabama. Who do you got? 77% of the people choosing Bama here.
So, Alabama last year was historically good. Not historically good, historically great. In my opinion, they were the best team. They're the 2020 Alabama Crimson Tide. The 2020-2021 Alabama Crimson Tide. The best team in college football history. However, this is the 2021-2022 season.
Yes.
Alabama's going to win this game, but Miami's going to cover the spread and keep it close.
Oh, we agree once again. I am also taking Miami. We're in the minority here.
18.5 is a big number for this kind of a game.
It is. And I don't think Miami is probably quite deserving of the ranking. Maybe they're right around that. But we shall see. I'm taking Miami plus 18.5. All right. We move on back to the bizarre spreads. Pittsburgh at home, favored by 38.5 over UMass. 90% of the people taking Pittsburgh. Who do you got?
Pitt Panthers. UMass is bad. UMass has been bad. I think since UMass has become a Division I team, they've won like 6 games.
You're probably right on that, but we differ finally, so we can get some separation.
I'll say it's been a minute.
One way or another. 38.5 is a lot of points. I get that this is gonna be a blowout. Pittsburgh's gonna crush UMass. I'm gonna take those 38.5 points. I'm gonna go with UMass even though only 10% of the picks are on UMass. I'm going to take them. We're going to roll with it. We move on. Little bit of Maction, sort of. Half Maction.
Half Maction.
Central Michigan travels to Missouri. Mizzou favored by 13.5 points. Tricky spread. Who you got?
I want to pick Central. I really do.
You do?
But I can't.
Oh, man.
I really wish I could. I really wish I could sit here on this show and say fire up chips and actually pick Central Michigan to do something. But not this week.
Oh, man. I'm going to try and put a Central Michigan game in here every week just to see what goes on.
Just to get me to pick one.
Then, eh?
Mizzou for me, yep.
All right. I did put this game in here for a reason. My sister graduated from CMU earlier this year. We're rolling with the chips. Fire up, baby. Central Michigan. I'm only with 7% of the people picking Central Michigan. That spread is way too low for me to usually pick that, but I'm rolling with it. DMU plus 13.5. Good Lord. I'm gonna tank my picks results early on here. All right. We do have some more Big Ten action. Oregon State traveling to Purdue. Purdue favored by 6.5. Another tricky one. What do you got?
Oregon State.
So wait, it's tapping out?
Oregon State.
Ooh. Picking Oregon State's like straight up to win or to cover?
Win.
Ooh.
Which obviously means they will cover, but win. I don't think Purdue's winning this week. I said it a little earlier in the show. I don't think Purdue's going to be great. I don't think they're going to win. I think I got to go back and look at what Purdue's over-under for wins were. 5, and I went with the under at 4.
Well, I mean,
And
I'm going to roll with Purdue until they fuck me, and they may very well
could
fuck
be
me
this
this
week.
week. It could very well be week 1. I'm going to roll with Purdue. 69% of the people picking Purdue minus 6.5. Oh, another massive one. We have the University of Akron traveling down south to Auburn. Auburn favored by 37.5. Who do you got?
not Akron. Not Akron.
Not Akron.
Auburn's going to win this one big, I think. I believe this is the beginning of the not Gus Malzahn era.
It is.
But
A lot of points, though. Were you sure?
I'm taking Auburn. The
Right.
new Auburn head coach era starts off well.
Whoever the hell that
I have
is.
no idea who it is, so
I mean, it's week 1. I get we're going to see a lot of blowouts from these big powerhouse. So I don't know if Auburn's a powerhouse team. They're not even ranked this year, which is kind of what factored into my pick. You're going to give me all these points. You're going to give me a chance to get ahead in the season-long college football standings. Right off the bat, I'm going to take Akron plus 37.5. Again, I'm with 21% of the people here, but was with you games, so I'll take it.
fair enough.
All right. We move on once again. And Texas fans, close your eyes. Abilene Christian travels to SMU. Southern Methodist University. SMU getting 30.5 at home. 89% of the people picking SMU minus 30. Who do you have?
30.5, by the way. Not minus 30, 30.5.
Yes, 30.5.
I really didn't know Abilene Christian had a football team.
I didn't either. I just knew they beat Texas in the NCAA tournament.
I knew that
That's
too.
That's the reason this game is here.
I did not know they had a football team, so I picked SMU.
Giving me a lot of points again. And
It's-
like I said,
It is a lot.
I gotta take it. I have to. 30.5 is a lot of points. I went with Abilene Christian here.
I mean, that's fair enough. That is a lot of points.
All right. All set for that one?
Yep. I have SMU.
We move on. Another game, sort of, kind of, because this relates to you. State of Florida and all that. Florida Atlantic. Is Lane Kiffin still there? I see what you're doing.
He
Lane
is.
Kiffin still in Florida Atlantic? Okay. Florida Atlantic travels to the swamp. Florida getting 24.5 at home, or rather favored by 24.5 at home. He's chomping away over there. Number 13, Florida. 93% of the picks are back in Florida. You have Florida. I would.
I am going with my alma mater. I graduated from University of Florida. I am going with my alma mater. I grew up not too far from Florida, or from Gainesville. Thank you to my wonderful parents, though, for me being an Ohio State fan. But yes, I am going with my alma mater. Florida Atlantic is bad. Lane Kiffin is bad. Lane Kiffin has Lane Kiffin's just bad.
This is one that I'm probably going to regret taking all these points at, because it's not really a lot of points. If this number was 24 and not 24.5, then I'd probably take Florida. You're going to give me that little half a point.
Fair.
It's too good. It's too good to pass up. I'm going to take Florida Atlantic, which I think is even worse or about the same as my CMU odds, or rather the people who have picked it, the percentage of the picks. 7% of people are taking Florida Atlantic. I'm going to roll with them. I'm going to regret it with them. Now we got a big game. Georgia, 5th ranked in the country, against Clemson, number 3 in the country. Clemson, the home team, favored only by 3.5 points. You made your point clear on this earlier, but I'll let you go again.
A few minutes ago, right before we started this segment, I said Georgia was going to beat Clemson because Clemson does not have Trevor Lawrence. So, I'm going, as much as it hurts me to say this, because being from the great state of Florida, I hate everything to do with Georgia. Everything. And I mean everything. There's nothing good that comes out of the state of Georgia.
No.
Nothing.
No.
So, I have to go with Georgia. Still.
I am contradicting myself.
What?
Because I said that I think Georgia is going to win. And yet I'm picking Clemson. Don't ask me why. I don't have a real reason. But I'm rolling with it.
Okay. And let me take this last game, by the way, though.
I could be wrong. Oh, God. I'm interested to hear the reasoning behind this. But hold on for a second.
Yep.
This game, to me, I mean, it's the only big game of the week. Really.
Other
Two
than
top
Alabama,
10 teams.
Miami.
That doesn't count. It's the only game of the week where you look at it and you're like, man, you don't really know. I think Georgia's going to win. Especially as an underdog. But I don't know why, but Clemson seems to be the smart pick. Not bet-wise, but just for what we're doing here against the spread. I know they're favorites, so they have to win with Clemson. But, yeah, I don't even know why I'm trying to explain this. I don't really comprehend the reason, and the reasoning is in my own brain. I don't know where it is.
It's just there.
It was there at one point, and I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm going Clemson. I don't know. Take it away with our final game of the week.
The final game for this week, 8:30 tomorrow on Fox. who the fuck cares? How did this game get into a primetime slot when there are other games better than this game? Number 16.
I'm gonna assume just because the Pac-12's got to deal with Fox or something. I don't know. I don't know
It has
why
to
this
be.
is here.
Number
Especially Fox. What is this game doing here?
Number 16 LSU travels out to the Rose Bowl for their first trip out there, actually, to Pasadena to play UCLA. This is who wanted this game? Who wanted this game?
To be fair, that could be said about half of the week 1 schedule, and not even just the games we picked.
Yes.
I picked what I thought were the 15
15
most possibly interesting games. I didn't pick any Rutgers game or anything like that.
But no, just I'm not even talking about this game that we picked this in terms of our picks. Why is this in a primetime slot?
I don't know.
This is a game that I would put on ESPN the fucking Ocho at 10 a.m.
It's Fox, and they got to deal with a couple conferences, and
LSU only
that's
won.
My only reasoning.
LSU only won 2 games last year, and one of those games they won was because of a fucking shoe getting thrown 40 goddamn yards down the field.
Forgot about that. That's fantastic. Even though that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, I will never not love that.
2 fucking games, and UCLA is not going to be good. Sure, they're 1-0. They beat the fuck up on Hawaii, but it's Hawaii. Who doesn't beat up on them? LSU is a 4.5 point favorite. I'm picking LSU. I'm not gonna watch this game. I'm gonna be sitting down watching fucking Georgia and Clemson, having a good time. Not watching
this game.
Not watching this shithole.
It's pretty much on at the same time. Georgia and Clemson starts an hour earlier.
I'm not gonna watch this shithole of a game.
As soon as this game is over, as soon as the Georgia Clemson game is over, rather, I might just go and watch, I don't know, some Mountain West.
Yeah.
Watch 100 points be scored between the 2 teams.
Not this. Who wants?
Not that.
Who wants this game?
You know,
this is going to be the lowest rated game of the week.
It's funny because I was just gonna bring up ratings. I was gonna be like, I'm interested to see the ratings of this game after the fact because I don't think anybody gives a shit.
The only people who are gonna watch this game are LSU fans and UCLA fans that can't actually get to the game. It's gonna be the lowest rated game of the week.
Yeah, because it's 3/4 of the way across the country. No shit, they can't get to the game.
Yeah. It's gonna be the lowest rated game of the week. LSU is a 4.5 point favorite. Wow. I'm going LSU.
I don't know. Florida and Florida Atlantic might be worse.
Yeah.
Especially
because that is actually at 7:30.
It starts the same time as Georgia and Clemson. So that game ain't gonna get shit, and it's on the SEC network.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm not gonna watch Florida and Florida Atlantic is because I don't think I have I don't think I have SEC network with You did not, because I went on a rant about how worthless this last game is.
We both went on a rant, man. This game is gonna suck.
It's gonna be so bad.
LSU 4.5. I think that spread should be bigger.
It's gonna be so bad. That's the picks for this week. I want to know whoever thought putting this game on a primetime slot's a fucking moron. Give me
Fox, the network executives at Fox, because they got some deal, and it was probably like, oh hey, like the Pac-12 really sucks, so we might as well show somebody who's not from our conference coming in and showcasing them. It's nothing to do with the Pac-12 and their TV deal. They just want the best team
that they could find.
They possibly can get on their network. And I guess for this week, it's LSU. Prime time. God.
I honestly think Florida Atlantic and Florida might have better ratings than LSU and UCLA. It's time for Champ and Chump of the Week.
All right. You roll first because I have to pull mine up.
Fuck. Fuck. I'm so frustrated about that game. My champ of the week. Oh, shit. My champ
By
of the
the
week.
way, I'm fairly certain our chump of the week is the same.
Yes.
So we talked about that previously.
My champ of the week is coming from the world of F1, George Russell.
Hey.
Who, even though at Spa it was a shit show, it was terrible, it was a disgrace, it was bad.
Agreed.
But George Russell still managed to take a Williams car and qualify second.
And that's why I don't, there's so many fluky things that happen in racing, but this dude took one of the second worst car on the grid and put it second. Well, now granted, he took advantage of the situation and did what he could, but to put that car second, he out-qualified Lewis Hamilton in a Williams.
Lewis Hamilton is the best driver of our generation.
And potentially ever, because Lord knows he ain't stopping.
Yeah.
Wish he'd go somewhere else, but he's not.
Great.
Who's
your champ of the week?
My champ of the week, and it's not even my champ of the week, but since this is the season debut, happened a couple weeks ago, or like last week, a little over a week ago. And I'll explain this, and it's CM Punk, who made his return to professional wrestling after 7 years. And
Who's gone that long?
Well, he was gone from WWE that long. But when you listen to what he said in his promo, he said, I haven't been a professional wrestler since 2005. A direct shot at WWE because they do sports entertainment. It's not, it is a completely different world. Wrestling's a dirty word. I don't mean to steal a line from Paul Heyman way back in the day, but Vince made wrestling a dirty word. And WWE is, in essence, not wrestling. But then you just listen to him talk, and you can just tell how bad of a place this dude was in when he was with WWE. And you could look at him and see that. And he took all this time off, and to come back and somehow still fall in love with the business all over again, as if he was still 20 years old or however old he was when he started. And to come back and just explode the entire world. Because people who don't even give a shit about wrestling paid attention to that. And do I wish that the AEW would have kind of kept it a little bit of a better secret? Yes, because they started off their first ever edition of their Friday night show, AEW Rampage, and the crowd was immediately just going, CM Punk, like they knew. I mean, and it was obvious. What else do you schedule a show in Chicago for?
Right.
When those rumors are already going on. But it doesn't change the fact that I just feel so good for him. And he is just such a star. Like that's a pop that only people like The Rock get. And then a couple days later, Becky Lynch returns, one of the hottest female stars in WWE. And by hottest, I don't mean physically. I mean, she's one of the big. And then Brock Lesnar comes back. Those two pops combined don't compare to what CM Punk got in an arena with 40,000 less people. The fact that people just cared that much, it just made for such a moment. And I was so happy that I got on to watch AEW Rampage because I knew it was going to happen. And I'm almost, in a way, I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit here, but I'm almost kind of glad they did spoil it a little bit and, all the rumors were out there because I wouldn't have tuned into that show otherwise. I'm not an AEW guy, but I mean, now it gives me a reason to tune in. I mean, this dude's the biggest star in wrestling these days. And I know we're a sports podcast, and wrestling isn't necessarily sports, but good God, man, if you cared about wrestling at all, I mean, just watching that at all is just one of the coolest things you'll ever see. I mean, it took like 10 minutes to get to the ring. It's incredible. I'll watch that. I'll watch that probably, I don't know, 300 times this year. Just watching him making his entrance again. It is just unbelievable. Also, props to AEW for ponying up the money to get the rights to Cult of Personality to actually like give him the real entrance that would generate that reaction.
Right.
I knew they had to, but still. And I mean, Daniel Bryan's gonna go to AEW here in a couple weeks, maybe even this weekend, and it ain't even gonna be close. And Daniel Bryan's one of the biggest stars and one of the biggest fan favorites that wrestling has seen since 2000. Just such a big name, but we'll see. It ain't gonna compare. It's gonna be great, but it ain't gonna compare. But I digress. I've ranted about CM Punk and that thing for far too long. Who is your chump of the week?
I really wish I could go with someone else.
Answer to that question.
I really wish I could go with something else,
Oh God.
but I can't.
Just go ahead. I mean, and then we'll fucking
Bishop Sycamore.
Yep. There we go.
They've been in the news for the past about 7 days now, 8 days.
About a week, yeah.
No, it'll be 7 days on Sunday actually, because it happened Sunday.
High school game. High school, quote unquote, on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, yeah. Happened Sunday. Bishop's a high school from Columbus called Bishop Sycamore played IMG Academy in the game of football.
A real school. A real prep school.
Yeah. IMG Academy
How about that? Crazy.
is from, as I stated, Bradenton, Florida, my hometown. I've actually been to the IMG facility once. IMG won 58-0.
Which is bad enough. It's bad enough as it is.
I would say, who's your chump of the week? Let's just.
It's the same damn thing. You know that.
Yeah, we had to get that out there for everyone to know. Both of our chump of the week is Bishop Sycamore, so we're just gonna be piggybacking off of everything we say.
Yeah, and we talked about this before because we thought about putting in stupid people say stupid things, but they didn't say anything stupid. They just are stupid.
we were gonna have it in dumb.
Everybody involved in that thing,
Called
whatever
Bishop
that
Sycamore
thing is stupid. They didn't say anything dumb, but they are the dumb.
They have the dumb. It is.
Where does it end?
They are
the dumb end
Here's
with Bishop Sycamore.
They are a school in Ohio.
Yeah, okay.
They're an online prep school, online charter school in Ohio, but they're not listed with the Ohio state board of education or Ohio Department of Education, whatever it's called. They're not listed with the Ohio High School Athletic Association. They're listed with the Texas Christian Schools Athletic Association. Texas, not Ohio. Texas.
You go on. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a calculation here.
It was found out that Bishop Sycamore played a game on Friday, 48 hours before they played IMG Academy on national television, because ESPN nationally broadcast the game. Yes.
Would you like to know how many miles it is between? Well, Google Maps did this weird. but the capital of Texas
Is Austin.
and the capital of Ohio.
Columbus.
Yes.
1,400.
It's actually a rather hilarious number.
Oh, yes.
1234. 1,234 miles.
Oh, so I was, 200 miles off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
234.
It's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
That route Google is telling me it crosses time zones, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah, it probably crosses at
Once.
least one.
Yeah, because Texas is
Possibly
in
two.
Austin, Texas is in Central Time Zone.
All right.
So one. Yeah. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Go. How?
It gets better. The story gets better. Yes.
ESPN could have easily been Chump of the Week for allowing that game on their network.
But the Bishop Sycamore story gets better. None of the Bishop Sycamore claimed to ESPN that all of their players have Division I offers. Long story short, none of them do. All of Bishop Sycamore's players are high school graduates.
Yep.
So Bishop Sycamore's
they're all in their 20s.
They're essentially a JUCO school, a junior college school. But they're not.
And they're ass at football.
Yeah, they're ass at football. That's not even the worst part.
Among other things.
They do not have a real field or practice facility. Their school is listed in a rec center.
Yep. If you didn't bring that up, I was gonna. That's their official address, is the rec center.
In Columbus.
Yes.
In Columbus, Ohio.
Yep. Have you been to that rec center?
I have not. I know where it is, but I have not been to it.
I don't have much experience in Columbus, so me neither.
I have some. Just a little bit.
I spent like 3 days there. Ever.
I've spent some time there. Continues to get better. Bishop Sycamore's head coach had an active arrest warrant.
I believe it was 4.
4?
Unless I'm crossing story. He had at least 1. We know he had at least
He had 1.
I believe he had 4. If he only had 1, what does it matter?
I knew he had 1.
The more you dig into this story, it just gets worse and worse.
The head coach eventually got fired for off the field reasons, meaning he probably got arrested. I don't know who fired him.
Fired for what? Who fires him? What is he fired from?
Yeah. The hotel, because this game was not played in Columbus. The game against IMG was not played in Columbus. It was played in Canton, Ohio. Because it wasn't played in Columbus because guess what?
They don't got a field.
Bingo. It was played in Canton, Ohio.
Maybe they can use the rec center that they are so proud to call their home. And maybe make it an arena football field. But that would require money.
And here's where the money thing, I was just getting to that. Apparently the team or school sent the hotel that the team was staying at bad checks that couldn't cash.
Shocker. What was the end goal?
That's the thing, is I don't know.
So, this is the biggest fraud in terms of sports.
And
other than that owner of the New York Islanders, who was essentially broke back in the 80s.
Yeah.
This is the biggest fraud of any sport related thing that I can remember, except maybe and you probably don't even know about this, but there was a guy back at the first race at Talladega Superspeedway, I believe in like the 70s, maybe early 80s, that I mean, I don't mean to drag this on. This is an entirely separate story, but I'll make it as quick as I can. He went to this marketing company who was going to give him a loan, and they wound up doing it. He said he's a NASCAR driver. He needs money. He's got sponsorship from this country music star, T.G. Shepherd or whatever. Never mind. I got a phone call of all things.
Oh, Jesus.
So he said he told this marketing company that he had sponsorship from this country music star T.G. Shepherd, and this place gave him a loan.
I think I remember hearing about this.
So
hearing a story of this, I should say.
This guy's name is L.W. Wright. And he's the DB Cooper of NASCAR. And he sends he gets this loan and then goes to Sterling Marlin, who was a NASCAR driver, and he buys a car from Sterling Marlin for like, I think he paid half up front, and he was supposed to pay half when the race was over for this car. Gets to the track. He's got no fucking clue what he's doing. He's asking questions of these drivers of like stuff that, and he claimed he was a veteran NASCAR driver and everything. And he just lied his way through everything. And gets to the race. He's incredibly slow. He's like laps down from the field, like 5 laps in. And NASCAR black flags him. He pulls over the car and skips town. That's the same sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that's
like it's. I can't think of anything that relates to that so specifically. This is the biggest defrauding in the sports industry that we've seen since that. It's incredible.
It's
how this even made it on ESPN's television.
Because they didn't do any checking. That's literally what it was.
It had to be. And I heard Trent Dilfer say if I'm, because he's a high school football coach these days, and he went up on Pat McAfee. It took a while, but the first Pat McAfee show reference to the show.
I say it took till the end of the show.
Right. It took how does this even happen? Because I go up to every coach that I face, and whether it's me going up to them first or them going up to us, and we're talking about things like that. Like, this should have been spotted out, and it wasn't. How?
Yeah.
In what world?
If this Bishop Sycamore story wasn't so crazy, if it didn't just get crazier by the fucking minute, by the day, ESPN would have been chump of the week for airing this game and not doing their background. They're not doing any form of background check. I get it.
And I mean, that's still bad. But
it is. But this story just got worse and worse, and it's still getting worse and worse. And we're 6 days removed. It is now technically Saturday. We are 6 days removed from this story first sprouting up. And it keeps getting worse and just building worse. And just getting more absurd even at points. So just because of that story continuing to get worse, ESPN dodged kind of a bullet. I mean, there's going to be questions. I get it. For the high school football games, ESPN, I guess, contracts out which games are going to be aired to a third party. Or at least the decision making is contracted out to a third party, I guess, is from what I've seen. But still, somebody at ESPN should be looking at this and being like, okay, we need to do some form of background check here. Because this is just bad.
And I'm sure that they will from now on.
They have to. So, do we have anything else for Chump of the Week? Or have we...
Bishop Sycamore is stupid and bad.
Yes. So...
That's all I got.
Yeah. That means we move on to One for the Road.
It means we move on to One for the Road.
Bingo. One second. Where did that disappear to? I have no idea where that disappeared to. I don't want... Find it here. There it is. Okay. Need the new scene. Make sure that popped up. Okay, One for the Road. I have two, actually. So, do you want to take your one first?
Two for the road.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. What do we call it? One for the road.
Well, this is a special week for this one.
Fair enough. My one for the road is fairly simple. Watch some goddamn college football. Just do it. Like, college football and the atmosphere that the fans provide is almost second to none. Soccer, like European soccer, anything with that, with the fans and the chants and everything that they do. College football's in that same sort of tier. We didn't get the fans last year. Watch some college football, even if you don't give a shit about the game. Even if it's LSU, UCLA.
Don't watch that game.
Crowd. I'm not gonna watch that game.
Don't watch that game. Don't do that to yourselves, guys. Please.
If you see nothing else, I guess, then
watch
maybe
Mountain West football.
watch anything over that. But no, just watch some college football, man.
Go back and watch Fordham in Nebraska.
That and the fact that it's real football that matters. We've had preseason NFL last little bit, but it doesn't compare. And college football is so phenomenal. Just watch a game. Specifically, if you can, Georgia Clemson. I feel like that game's going to be electric. But just watch a game. Any game. Make it happen.
So, I have two for the road. I have one that is for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Georgia Clemson. It's the honestly big game for the week. It's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. It could set an early standard for the college football playoff. If Clemson wins, I think Georgia's out because I think Georgia will end up with 2 losses then. However, if Georgia wins, Georgia needs to win if they want to have a shot. Clemson, I think if they lose, they still have a chance because they have an easy road after that.
Both of our college football playoff picks, as way too early as they might be, are just so dependent on tomorrow.
On Georgia Clemson.
Yep.
If
Georgia loses to Clemson, I'm mega screwed. You're
mostly
potentially
or 3/4 screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Georgia beats Bama.
Right.
but I don't think that's going to happen. And my second for the road, because back when we first started this segment back in season 2.5 or season 3, whatever it was, this was originally 3 for the road, but for season 4 we dropped it down to 1. But for today, since we're coming back, it's gonna be, I have 2. Sunday at, let me check the time, 8 p.m. Eastern in the Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. The United States men's soccer team takes on Canada in their, I believe, 3rd round of World Cup qualifying. The United States has gotten their has 1 point so far. Only one team has more, and that's Mexico. This will be a big game for the United States just to get off to a good start. This is their second game out of I'm trying to think of how many, 16 I think, something like that. And for those of you who don't quite entirely know, top three in the region get an automatic bid into the World Cup. So this is a big second game for the U.S. if they can get some points over Mexico. So there's your 2 for the road. With that being said, everybody, that is the show for the week. This one went a little longer because, well, it's our first show back. Do you have anything to add that we may have missed, Jordan?
Skim milk is water that is lying about being milk.
Okay. Shit, where do I go from here?
I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty
tough act to follow. Tough act to follow. Guys, thank you for making us a part of your day. However you may be making us a part of your day, whether you're watching this live with us, whether you are listening to it on audio sources after the fact, whether you're watching it on the House Divided podcast YouTube channel. Thank you. I want to say it's been about, and Jordan and I were talking about this the other day, and I know I cannot entirely put words into his mouth, but I do believe we both share the same sentiment. It's been about 4 months, 3.5, 4 months since we have been off air, taking the summer hiatus because there just wasn't a lot to talk about.
Talking baseball every week kind of sucks.
It's rough. I like baseball, but you can only do so much because eventually the regular season just drags on. I did thoroughly miss doing this because it's
always a good time.
It's a phenomenal time coming just hanging out, talking sports for 2.5 hours. Usually the show runs about 2.5, 3 hours, and it's always a great time. I thoroughly missed this during the past 3 months. I'm glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to having a phenomenal season. So with that being said, thank you again, everybody, for making us a part of your afternoon. Peace out, or evening, night,
evening,
straight up
morning,
night.
whatever the fuck it's been.
Straight up just night. With that being said, everybody, peace out. We will see you, I believe the tentative plan is for Wednesday.
Wednesday would be fantastic because I would imagine the NFL season technically kicks off Thursday.
Yes.
So even if it is Thursday, should some nonsense happen,
I fall asleep early again. I fall asleep at 6 p.m.
We both passed out.
I fell asleep at like 6 p.m. on Wednesday and didn't wake up till...
I fell asleep fairly early. It wasn't quite 6 p.m., but it was pretty early yesterday.
Yeah, Wednesday I fell asleep at like 6 p.m. I mean, yesterday, just because Ohio State was playing, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but...
I knew it wasn't going to happen yesterday either. As soon as it didn't happen Wednesday, I was just like, oh, well, it's Friday then.
Yeah. So Wednesday's the tentative plan. That way we can do next week's show will be... Probably won't be too news heavy unless something happens.
I can't imagine there's going to be much news to talk about. If there is, we'll just kind of burn through it
Yep.
and then get into a little bit of college football.
I would say we'll give a week one recap.
Anything wild happens, we'll talk about that. If it's not that, it'll be NFL.
Yep.
NFL
We'll have a week
preview,
one recap
see
and
what
then
goes.
NFL preview, and that's it.
Yep.
And
the picks.
And the picks, I would say, for now, I believe we'll be doing away with backdoor cover, going back to the picks. I believe. Yep.
Yep. It's
Fucking mosquito. Where the fuck did that come from? Jesus.
backdoor cover is simply something. Once the NFL season, college football, once that's done,
We'll go back to backdoor
it's-
cover.
it's just backdoor cover. And even once college football's done and just the NFL postseason's going on,
I think we could
can
probably.
put it back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, without that, up until then, it's the picks.
Yep. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for watching, listening, and hanging out. Peace out. Stay classy. Everyone have a safe Labor Day weekend. Don't do anything stupid, because if you do stupid shit happens to you. Bye.
Man, that's a life lesson right there.